Sliwa is on for your Monday. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. And yes, indeed, hopefully you had a beautiful weekend. Dodgers, Yankees, we'll recap that. Plus, Nuggets, Heat, Game 2 last night. What a game. What a battle. And Slee was back from his let me throw water at John Ireland and then take 2 days off vacation. Well done, Slee. We'll find out if he tells us. Did the Sierra Subaru of Monrovia make it out? Was Rookie the dog part of the activities? We'll find all that out. Plus, I got to tell you, I'm a little sad on this Monday, not because of the gloomy weather. Yes, rainy days and Mondays. Anyway, a lot of the communication and texting over the weekend that I would usually do with producer Emily about Succession is now gone. We have to find a new show to watch, Em. Plus, producer Taylor's back from a few days off. Let's get to it as we begin Mandy's Week. Let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, your Monday right now.
I work here, too. I'm just saying.
That's many days in a row where Travis is not included in this open.
I'm just saying, I work here too.
What's the streak now? I don't think you've been mentioned in an open since November.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it was November, I think.
I had a nice week. Chris and I had a nice conversation this weekend.
Rams-Niners week was the last time.
Matthew Stafford.
That was it.
That's the last time.
I talked to you about Succession this morning.
We did talk about Succession this morning. And you and I had a nice long conversation. We'll get into your one-leggedness.
What the hell happened?
A little bit. She had a trip to Santa Barbara that she was looking forward to. We prepped you up as best, or at least I did as best I could.
Parker, we're trying to do a show, man.
And bam, she nearly tears her foot off 5 minutes after arriving in Santa Barbara.
Last time we took a day off. I went to Catalina, and there was a monsoon, and I couldn't leave my hotel room the entirety of the trip. Right. And then this time, I get injured mere hours into the trip. That was really fun. It was super duper fun.
That's not good.
Other than that, Santa Barbara was lovely.
It's a lovely
Did your
town.
recommendations. It was great.
Good. I'm glad you had a good time when you weren't, in the emergency room or the medical or urgent care or whatever it was.
Super fun.
I could see Emily in the emergency room. I could see her in the emergency room and still holding a cocktail.
You're not entirely wrong.
No, still having a drink. I might as well just enjoy this, and she's mixing. She's like a shaker there.
There is a cocktail-related portion to her story, which we will get to before too long. Welcome back to you as well, Taylor. How was your couple of days off?
Thanks, Trev. I went to Colorado. I had a good time there, getting outdoors, spending time with friends. I was in a wedding.
Okay. In a wedding or attended a wedding?
I was a groomsman, yeah.
Okay. Congratulations.
In a wedding.
Nice. You got married.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you have to do a speech?
I gave a short speech, yeah.
How'd it go?
I think it went well. I think it did, but I don't know. After the wedding, though, kind of interesting, we had to move my friend's new wife out of her old place.
Okay.
So he had everybody in the wedding party help move.
Oh, so you had a working wedding.
Yeah.
Did you bring your truck so that you could help?
I didn't take the truck. They had a U-Haul.
He had to actually rent the U-Haul.
I managed to stay, uninjured throughout the process.
Good for you. Well, that makes one of you.
Sorry, Emily.
We'll see if Al came back with any broken bones. You look good from where I'm standing.
No, here's a question on the speech that you just talked about. What's the length? How long did you go? Did you go 30 seconds? You go 8 minutes, which I know you didn't go 8 minutes. How
Definitely
long
not 8 minutes, but it was kind of long for my standards, about a minute 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it similar to what your speech is when you accept your Mandy for Associate Producer of the Year?
I've got nothing prepared for that, so it's going to be off the cuff if I win.
Oh, well, look, we're all going off the
Mandy's
cuff if
week.
We win. It's Mandy's week.
Yeah.
We're 6 days away. We're 6 days away from Saturday. Commerce Casino. Mandy
They serving
Awards
ultras
2.
out there?
I would imagine you will be able to get your hand on an ultra or two.
The hottest shoes are walking boots.
Well, I was just going to say, are you going to rhinestone your walking boot or something?
I don't think you can really see it, but my whole thing is now I'm going to be so worried about getting up on stage when I accept an award. It's going to be crazy.
We should get one of those chairs, Al, like the old ladies take up the ramp to go upstairs to their house.
Yep.
It's just, Emily just goes from the ground floor to the stage. It's like a 10-second ride. Just
exactly.
To take the...
We know some people. For that one movie that they're all watching. Oh my gosh, with Jack Black and in it.
Cloris
Leachman, yeah.
Slee, I missed your Sweet Revenge. What happened? Walk me through it.
It wasn't really too much to it. It was just I'm going to fill up I have one specific, it's, I don't know, 16 ounces, 18 ounces of water. I don't know what the hell it is. I'm like, you know what? The night before I said to myself, I'm like, can we just let's just go ahead and do this? I didn't know if John was going to be working or not. I was going to prepare either way. Got an Ask Slee shirt for him and then a towel. I'm like, all right, there's just something very simple. I'm going to have a full glass of water under.
So the same thing that he did to you?
The table.
That's what you came up with in 4 months?
Yep.
Was it scalding? Was it at least scalding hot? Please.
It was not scalding hot.
I was hoping for ice water at least, like really, really cold.
Well, here's the problem. I missed him. I didn't really.
Hit him in the
no,
shoulder.
I
You
missed
could
him.
get him again.
I literally, and I don't know what happened. Maybe I just science-wise, I guess the way I brought my hand already started a wave. So it wasn't direct. It kind of went over to
You
the
pulled
right.
it a
Now
little
it
bit.
hit him, but I pulled. Yeah, that's definitely a ball in the inside corner.
Yeah, you missed the zone, but you got him. It was good. It's funny you just said that because I noticed, like, you did not loop me in. I had no idea it was coming. And all of a sudden, I noticed that Ask Slee shirt was in here, and I'm like, well, that's weird because I hadn't seen it before. I'm like, maybe somebody asked you for one or something. You're like, I'll see if I can find you. I didn't know what it was, but I did notice it. And then when we were doing crosstalk, you went like a long period of time without saying anything. And I was
looking under too, almost knocked
out,
over.
Hand to God. Yeah. A couple of times I looked over, like thinking you were going, and you were somewhere else.
Yeah,
you had kind of like checked out,
sweating profusely.
And
I also had a vacation coming, so I had already checked out.
I thought that's what
gone.
it was. I thought you were thinking about, hey, what's the traffic going to be like all of these different things. But at one point I did look, and you were kind of looking under the desk. You kind of had your head down a little bit, and I'm thinking like, what's he doing? And then bam.
Yeah, the only thing I think I wish I would have changed here is we have a random, like, do you remember in the fridge for like 2 weeks there was just this like bucket, two of these it's a red cap of just a bucket of water that was just sitting there. And I don't know what the hell they were. I almost wish I kind of filled up a little halfway through that. I should have just got more. That's the only thing. And I missed. I didn't get him directly.
It's hard to be sneaky with more.
I know that you meant you were going for like the headshot.
Yeah, I just wanted face.
You wanted
for
sure.
Just kind of
but
get that.
you got him better than I think you're letting on. Like he was pretty wet when it was all said and done. His hair wasn't wet. Like you didn't look like he went dunk tanking, but it was good.
Yeah, people on Twitter want to be like some of the other people. It's Slee, you got to do this and that. Everybody relax here, okay? I still also want to have.
Well, I did want you to escalate. Like he hit you with a 5 out of 10, and you hit him back with a 5 out of 10. It was very proportional.
Yeah,
there was nothing where you went, oh, okay.
I did slash 3 of his tires.
Good. Then that's exactly what I was looking for.
That's the only thing he does not know.
I hope he had to walk home that day. Then you stole his AAA card, so you couldn't call for help.
Well, his pants were all wet too. So then everyone's like, "Oh, what really happened here, guys?"
Exactly.
But how was Joshua Slee?
Joshua Slee,
good.
Okay. That's not bad. Man, it's so nice. I don't know. It's not for everybody. Let's put it that way. I give Lady Slee a lot of credit because it's not for everybody. In the past, every time I used to go camp and everything else, it'd be with a couple of buddies. We'd get drunk. We didn't know what the hell was going on out in the woods. We had a great time. But it is different. Her and I have gone camping we've gone 2 other times. But it is different. Like, that is not her setting. And she just was all in, let it be. It was awesome. And it was so nice to just kind of be away. The only thing, okay, is this cheating while I'm doing this? Because this did definitely happen. We left early Thursday morning.
Okay.
So it's first come, first serve are the campsites.
Okay.
But if you go during the week, probably not going to have any issue getting one. And the off season started June 1st. We went June 1st. So it's like the chances of us getting a campsite was really good. But I don't want to take any chances. So we leave Pasadena at 6 a.m. in the morning. We're in Joshua Tree by about 8:30, and we get a great campsite. We get everything. So you're sitting there, right? You got no phone, you got no service, anything else. Now, granted, I've told you this before. I could be at Marshall's in 25 minutes.
Sure.
That's a true story. I looked at
literally from the campsite to a strip mall.
From the campsite, I could be at Del Taco in about 27 minutes. These were all the different stops on my way there. I'm like, all right, well, there's Ross Dress for Less. There's Marshall's. There's Walmart. There's Home Depot. Is it cheating that I'm technically away? I left everything. I don't have any service on my phone when I'm actually at the campsite. I listened to most of Game 1 on the radio.
No, you didn't. Did you really?
Well, wait, okay, let me ask you a question. Is that cheating game one?
Cheating? What do you mean?
Like, does it mean I'm not outdoor if I'm listening to radio?
No, of course
Okay.
not.
Okay, because
It's kind of sad, but I don't think it's cheating.
Yeah, it's his passion.
But it was amazing. Okay, let me ask you this question. I listened to partially on Friday part of the Padres game I was able to listen to part of the Padres game. Would you, if you're out listen.
Sounds kind of lovely.
This is our world. Our world is the radio world.
Sure.
I don't know what it was. There was something about I'm outdoor. I'm in the middle of nowhere. The sun, the moon, or the stars, the moon, all that other stuff. We had just cooked dinner. I crack open a beer, and there I get.
That sounds pretty good.
I get some of the. I could listen to part of the game as well. It wasn't the best service on 710, but I did my best to get it. I don't know why. That was kind of a moment of like, this is awesome.
No, that sounds really nice. That sounds the idea of being outside, having that beer, looking at the stars, listening to your team play.
Rookie
That sounds
barking
really
at
nice.
everything. Yep.
Use your imagination, see the play ahead
No.
of you.
That sounds good. Like the Padre part, I'm super into you for. Like that I like a lot. But just some random,
because it's the Nuggets and the Heat.
Nuggets and the Heat. Like if it were the Lakers or something, like for sure, right? Even if it were something like, I know you hate the Clippers, like in your bones. Like if you hate listening to that, I completely understand that.
It's game one of the finals.
Yeah, but it's the Heat and the Nuggets. Who, whatever. Whoever wins, it's gonna be like.
What if Duncan
cool.
Robinson goes off out of nowhere and I don't know about it
Good point.
until Saturday?
The heck?
You're right. In the event of a Duncan Robinson,
I picked the right person.
Lighting it up. You're
I picked the right
absolutely
person.
Right. That sounds nice.
No, it was beautiful. It really was.
What was that dinner on that first night?
First
dogs?
first night, literally hot dogs.
Yeah.
That was the first night. Second night, we cooked some steaks. So made some steaks when we were out there. Every morning I did breakfast. So I was making eggs and cutting up, everything that, at least for me, I'm cutting up some veggies, making an omelet, everything else. It was actually, I had one of those little Coleman propane, one of those little green propane tanks.
Uh-huh.
I had already had a couple. I didn't know if they were empty this. One of those things, I'm trying to use this thing to just get one to go. I have 4 of those. I could have stayed out there for a month. For all I know, I could have connected my Comrex to the propane tank. It could have been doing the show from out there.
Propane-powered Comrex. You should invent that. That would be amazing. You could be like Art Bell. Just do your show out in the middle of the woods, and you know where you are, and you could just stay out there for months at a time.
It was beautiful. It was awesome.
That sounds great.
By the way, shout out, and I know Chris mentioned as well, Sierra Subaru, they hooked it up. 2023, their Ascent, which is their SUV, gave me that for a few days, so I was able to take the car out there.
Perfect. That sounds like a really, really good trip. All right, so the NBA season isn't officially over yet, but Kyrie has already started the rumor mill with a trade request idea. Bad idea, good idea. We'll do it next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Hey, are you dealing with a dead battery? If you are, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. They offer free battery services like their free battery testing and their free battery charging. Their free battery testing can help you know if you need a new battery or not, or if you just need a fresh charge. And if you happen to need a replacement, they can help with that as well. They've got reliable replacement batteries starting at just $79.99, and they're the only place you can find proven tough Duralast batteries. So the next time you're having battery trouble, head to AutoZone, your battery solution and America's #1 battery destination.
The biggest station. LA Sports Talk all day long. 710 ESPN.
Do you remember this video, Slee? I don't remember
The video?
Yes.
No,
We're
not
looking
the
at it
video.
right now.
Yeah.
Suggestive.
It's very
Yeah.
suggestive, but it's just them in the desert just walking around, right?
Looks like they're by the ocean.
By the ocean.
Yeah,
Okay. I
in
knew
the sand.
black
there
and
was
white.
no ocean.
This is
Yeah.
also featured in
Ocean near me.
your favorite show, Friends.
Is it?
I think it's when Ross and Rachel kissed for the first time.
It's the first time they kissed.
Yeah. How do you not remember this? Or it's when they
Slipped my
first,
mind.
consummate their relationship.
Get to know
Either
each other.
way. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Trev, how was your weekend?
It was lovely. Thank you for asking, Taylor. Appreciate that. I had a very nice weekend.
What happened? Anything?
I love it.
Don't-
What
Well,
happened?
he did have his favorite thing ever happen on the show on Friday. You got to talk to Earl Hershiser and
was
Jaime Herring.
pretty great. I'm not going to lie. So those guys came in along with my pal Mike Capozio. They came in on
Awesome.
Friday, and we did 35, 40 minutes with those guys.
Wow.
It was terrific. Got to talk to Earl for a long time. Got to talk to Jaime for a long time. It was
Awesome.
It was a great way to start the weekend. I had In-N-Out on Friday night because that was after I had a couple of beers with my buddy. So it got off to a really good start. Little golf.
Did you overeat on Friday night or no?
Just the normal.
Okay.
I mean, my normal.
Yep.
Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
My normal In-N-Out, double and a half. Got one for Michael. He just said he didn't want one. I know he did. So I brought it home anyway, and he ate half. And then, I'm not going to throw it in the garbage. That's not going to happen.
Michael only had half?
Well, he goes, I just ate. Don't get me anything. I'm like, I know the second I come through with that bag, he's going to come out and want half of mine. So I'm just getting a spare. It's like a spare tire. Just have it in the bag just in case.
Yeah.
How much of it was you're getting it for him to be nice? How much of it was I have to play it safe here
Yes.
to make sure that he's not taking part of mine?
Yes.
Because you were going to either have a half a burger
Or two.
or a burger and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Or two full burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that, went to Palm. I was actually not far from you. We were kind of joking that I should have crashed your Joshua Tree spot.
No, I should have
on
crashed your
Saturday.
golfing
game?
event.
What's that?
Baseball game?
No baseball games this weekend.
Wow.
No baseball games this weekend. 2 rounds of golf in Palm Springs, and then yesterday went to a high school graduation party. Our friends, their daughter graduated from high school. They had a food truck there, TK Burgers, knocked it out of the park. Amazing.
Where's she heading to?
Cal Poly Slow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I got a question on your golf on Saturday. You had your first tee time was at what time?
9:15.
Okay.
Something
Play
like that.
18?
We did.
And then you had a second tee time.
Yes. 2:00.
What's your body like after 36 holes?
Well, at the end of the first round, I was feeling good.
Okay.
Like, we had a good time in the first round. We had a really, really good time. And then we had a little lunch, had a great Cuban sandwich. Like, this is where Desi Arnaz used to hang out, so the Cuban sandwich is going to be on point, as it's supposed to be. And then we hung around, went out and played again. It was terrific. Couldn't have been any better.
But was the second round, okay, if you have to, first round more enjoyable than the second round?
Equally enjoyable.
Okay, then.
Yeah,
then
it was great.
that's-
Now, yesterday I
that's ball
couldn't
game.
move, and I fell asleep 4 times during
Yep.
the rest of the day. But it was a fantastic weekend, and ate way too much, and I'm feeling it. Today's one of those days where you be like, I don't think I need to eat today.
Yeah, just don't.
I'm good. I put the calorie bank is
Eat
full
tomorrow.
for a couple of days. That's about
Eat
what
tomorrow.
it's going to be. All right, little breaking news right now, but brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and coupons today. This is a tweet from Shams Charania, who writes, sources, Kyrie Irving has reached out to Lakers star LeBron James in attempts to see if James would come to Dallas. Irving is a free agent this offseason. Okay, so what Shams is saying is that Kyrie has said to LeBron, why don't you come this way? We've talked a lot about Kyrie going from Dallas to L.A.,
Yep.
but Kyrie at least is floating the idea of the opposite, that LeBron going to Dallas.
Yeah, listen, we could look at this from so many different perspectives, but this is kind of a head scratcher for me. Trav, if you'd have told me a year ago, let's just pretend that Kyrie Irving was a Dallas Maverick a year ago,
Yeah.
and let's just pretend that the Lakers just came off a season where they're 33-49, and it's still the same terms where Bron has a year left plus an option year, everything else. Let's just pretend that was the case a year ago, that the Lakers were not in the Western Conference Finals, that they went through an awful, awful season, that Russ was still on the roster, and
got it.
you're basically trying to determine and decide, hey, guys, is it over? Did we kind of get what we needed from Bron? Did Bron get what he needed from us? Hell, we won an NBA championship. But this whole idea and concept of competing again in the Western Conference, it's probably not going to be there. A year ago, I could listen to this and say, okay, maybe it is interesting that the Lakers move off of LeBron. Maybe it is interesting that the Lakers decide we got the best that we can from him, and we got the best in this window with LeBron James, and maybe that chapter is done. The problem this offseason, to read the report, Shams, Chris Haynes went a little bit deeper into an article in the Bleacher Report. The problem with that is the team is coming off getting to the Western Conference Finals. That even if the Lakers just brought back the same exact team, they're probably top 4 in the Western Conference if everybody is there, and now all of a sudden, you get a chance to play 82 games together. The Dallas Mavericks are in a different world. Dallas Mavericks couldn't make the play-in tournament. I really think they're going to give Kyrie whatever he's asking for. That's why they went out and made the trade for him and take their chances with that. The problem I have is, why would any of this make any sense at all for the Lakers coming off a year that they got to the Western Conference Finals? That's the part that I have a difficult time understanding from a Laker perspective.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you, and I'm trying to come up with a reason why it would be appealing to the Lakers. And I'm not saying this is their thought process, but just spitballing it. Maybe it's, listen, we were in the Western Conference Finals, but we're a long way from the best team in the end. We're not a championship caliber team as currently constructed. LeBron's going into year 21. He's probably going to have to get that foot fixed at some point this offseason. The Anthony Davis era may or may not ever become what it is that we need it to become, and we need to start thinking about life after LeBron. And life after LeBron could start sooner than later, and we can get started a year sooner, 2 years sooner, whatever it may be. It's just, hey, let's start it over. Let's take some assets in as opposed to some assets going out. Now, nobody's speculated on what this trade might look like, or even if it's even possible that you're going to hear Luka. You're going to hear all of this crazy stuff thrown out there. This sounds like Kyrie just kind of Kyrieing. Right? But I think what the answer to your question, if there is one, I tend to agree with what you said, that this is, guys, we're as close as we've been in a while. Let's see if we can kind of fix our stuff.
And this could be it anyways. This is the final year. You do this for one more year.
But that could be look, we're not, it looked a little closer than it actually was. Let's take a step back so we can take 3 steps forward sooner. That would be the read on it, although I don't think that's what they're going to do. LeBron James will be on this team next year.
Yeah, and listen, I think this is the thing that makes the most sense. By the way, it is kind of fascinating the way you described it, that it's Kyrie obviously putting this out there, and it's the Lakers.
Somebody, right? Like, you wonder if Kyrie comes back, because, look, Kyrie is Kyrie. For better or for worse, we know what that means. If he comes back and just said, I never did anything like that at all. And never, ever, ever. Do I talk to LeBron? Yeah. Did I say come to? No. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next step in this.
Well, I think the fact that it is Shams and that it is Haynes, it's probably as closely connected as you can get to Kyrie, if not Kyrie.
I'm not calling their reporting into question.
I know what you mean.
I'm calling Kyrie's deal into question. Not them, him.
So I think this. I think that, let me play off of what you just said and kind of, you just mentioned that is there a world where the Lakers can say to themselves, you know what, we got a lot further than we probably should have, or if Memphis was healthy, who knows? If you ended up in the 8th seed and Denver swept you, then we're looking at this season a lot different. You were mentioning that last year, that you could. There's a couple different ways to look at it.
Sure there are.
I think at the same time, they got so many options this offseason to improve their roster. They have ways that they got the number 17 pick. They got their second-round pick, which I think is 41, something like that. They have players under contract that are multiple players, not just one like Russell Westbrook where you were kind of stuck. Here's $47 million, right? You got players that you can kind of spread out if you were to do some type of deal. They could come back with nobody and just come back with the same roster and do something at the trade deadline. I just don't think...
There's another variable. LeBron wants it.
Okay, by the way...
That's a whole nother variable.
By the way, let's use that as a perspective. LeBron James goes to the Dallas Mavericks. The Lakers get whatever remaining assets that the Dallas Mavericks have. You got LeBron, Luka, and Kyrie, and then what? You're basically filling up the rest of the roster with mid-level guys and everything else. You already have 3 players right there that don't play any defense. Okay, there is no Anthony Davis on that side as you kind of stick somebody in there to be that player. Is that a better situation for 1 year, or is the situation that the Lakers are in right now with the team that they have and options to improve the roster? Bron moved his family here. Bronny's going to be playing at USC. I just have a difficult time thinking that, like you just said, Bron goes out there and says, I want to be with the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay, I have another theory that I want to throw out there. We can come back and toss because I agree with everything you said. I'm trying to play devil's advocate in some of this stuff. It doesn't make any sense for it to be going that way, right? Because to your point, it's not necessarily a better winning situation for him.
Yeah.
That he was a lot closer here than he would be there, arguably. Why would he want to leave Los Angeles for all the reasons that you just laid out? Maybe this is a, air quotes, and the heaviest air quotes I've ever laid out there, a creative way for them to get the ball started on the opposite
Could be
happening. For instead of you coming here, why don't you come over on my side? We won't go to your house, you come to my house kind of situation, right? We've all done that with our friends where they invite you over. You're like, I don't really want to go over to their house. So let's just invite them over here so I don't have to get in a car.
And
kind of one of those deals.
No, and I'm good with conspiracy theories. When I was sitting out there on Friday night in the middle of nowhere in Joshua Tree, and I did get some reception on radio, some interesting radio going on out there.
Did you get the After Dark?
No, everything was like, basically everything was political. Like the deep state in this. I'm like, come on, guys, relax.
That's what late night radio's for.
Yeah,
that's what it is. You should have flipped over to the Art Bell, or I guess it's George Norrie now. Really find out about Bigfoots and remote viewing. And is it Big Feet or is it Bigfoots? I feel like it's Bigfoots.
Bigfoot.
Well, what's more than one Bigfoot? Is it a big feet?
Bigfoots?
Bigfoots.
I thought there's only one of them.
Wow.
You know.
Sasquatch. Maybe Bigfoot is like the proper name in Sasquatches.
So he doesn't have a mother. He doesn't have a father.
Right. They don't reproduce.
Here.
Yeah.
He's not from a, well, maybe he is. Maybe he's an alien along the way. So is this the beginning of the other way? That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Hey, if you get hurt in an accident, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James, because not all personal injury attorneys are the same. Sweet James are the ones that have been awarded best attorneys in America, and personal injury, it is all that they do. That's why I called Sweet James after my family's been involved in accidents. That's why my friends and their families have called Sweet James after they've been involved in accidents. Car accidents, motorcycle accidents, bike accidents, dog bites, whatever it is, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James, because their success is driven by their passion to help you, their clients. Do not take on those insurance companies by yourself. You're going to need someone to advocate for you, and that is Sweet James. That big settlement, too. Over $1 billion in settlements in his nearly 20-year career. Call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
that begins 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
All right, 877-710 ESPN is the phone number. I'm curious, Al, what Laker fans think about this. This is a classic, interesting note because of, like you said, who it comes from. Shams is not a guy that's just throwing stuff against the wall and see if he can get traction. This isn't some, low-level NBA reporter that's trying to make a name for himself. Shams is one of the dudes, right? He's just one.
He heard it from somebody.
Yeah. And I think we probably know who he heard it from, right? I don't think it takes Sherlock Holmes to crack the code of this one. But what he sent out earlier, sources, Kyrie Irving has reached out to Lakers star LeBron James in an attempt to see if James would come to Dallas. Irving is a free agent this offseason. It could literally be as simple as, I talked to LeBron last week and told him he should come this way. Ha, ha, ha. Right? It could be something like that. But knowing Kyrie, and this is where I think I want to get Lakers fans' feedback and yours as well, is Kyrie is a very specific sort of guy, that he's unpredictable. There's nothing that goes from point A to B to C. It goes from A to Q to 4 to ampersand. None of it makes any sense. Does this make any sense? Is this the beginning of a move to try to work his way? Well, we couldn't get it done in him coming to Dallas, so maybe we can come to L.A. I have a feeling fast forward a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, LeBron James is still a Laker and Kyrie Irving is probably still a Dallas Maverick. I can't see why this is a good move for either one of these two teams.
How mad is Michael Malone right now that there's another Lakers story?
You're right about that.
In the middle of the NBA Finals,
well,
taken
they
away.
just lose, so maybe he's okay with them not being the cover
maybe
story.
okay on this one.
Hammering his guys too.
Oh, he went at him.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he went at him. All right, we've had two storylines since the Lakers season ended. One is Bron's postseason comments, or right after the season ended, of whether he still wants to, obviously do this. And then you got this one about Kyrie trying to get Bron to go over there. And I think we would agree on the same point that Bron will be a Los Angeles Laker by the time next year starts. And I think, listen, you can make a case, and this was the conversation that we were having when Kyrie Irving was pulling up and sitting front row watching the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. He did that in, round 1 or round 2 as well, whether it was Memphis or the Warriors, I can't remember. But either he has season tickets or, he just has nothing going on that he just wanted to watch Lakers basketball.
Or third option, he's doing what he does. He's stirring the pot. He's trying to get eyeballs, thoughts, words written about him. That this Kyrie Irving leave me alone. Don't talk about me. Stop asking me questions. And then he shows up at 7 Laker games. Okay, it's like, come on, bro. Pick a lane. You can either be the guy that wants to be left alone, which is fine, but then go away, or you can want to be the guy that's constantly mentioned in trade rumors and speculation and show up and sit by the Laker bench and wink at LeBron when he runs up and down the court.
Wonder, they have those like season ticket holders, like an annual event every year. If he shows up to that,
right?
He wasn't able to go to training camp because he had to go to that.
He's got to go to his own.
I think there's I think there's a intrigue with Kyrie with the Lakers. There was intrigue around Kyrie at the trade deadline. This was when he was still in Brooklyn. There's intrigue with Kyrie and LeBron James because they've had success together. There's intrigue that the Lakers, what the Lakers really, really need is a veteran guard who can get buckets. There's also, take the Kyrie piece out of it. Just think of a player that can really thrive with the Lakers. It's a veteran guard who can get buckets. So I think there's always intrigue around Kyrie Irving for all the reasons that we just talked about.
What you just talked about with Kyrie, like the fit, for a second, suspend all of your rational thought process and assume that Kyrie Irving had the personality of Steph Curry.
Yep.
Okay, that just the most rock solid. He's going to be there every day. That he's that guy. There's no better player you want. But his personality is so unpredictable.
Yep.
It is so hard to even think what he's going to do from minute to minute, much less season to season, to really throw in with him, because you have no idea what's going to happen. Because I'm sure Cleveland, Boston, Brooklyn have all thought it's going to work out. And they're all like, get him out of here.
That's what makes a no-brainer he's the one type of player that when something should be a no-brainer. Let me give you a good example on this. Anthony Davis in the playoffs. You know what AD averaged? You and I would agree with this. Anthony Davis on the defensive side, as good as any player in the league. If you're going to win an NBA championship, you need a player like Anthony Davis, what he does on the defensive side.
100%.
Offensively, I have no idea. I don't know if he's going to give you 35 or 15. I don't know if he's going to. He averaged about 22 points in the postseason. That's not enough to go beat the Denver Nuggets or one of those other teams.
No.
What the type of player Kyrie is, if I put up 22, that's all I need if I'm Anthony Davis, because I got a guy like Kyrie
just got 28.
That's going to give you 28.
Yeah.
D'Lo wasn't going to do that.
No.
D'Lo clearly didn't do that. So the reason why I think there's always so much association with Kyrie is everything we talked about, and from a basketball perspective, there's a great fit, that he would fit with the Los Angeles Lakers. But if I told you what's more likely, Kyrie ends up a Laker or LeBron ends up a Mav, which one would you say?
Oh, Kyrie in LA is more likely, but I don't think either one is at all likely.
I don't think the Lakers are going to give him a max contract. I don't think the Lakers are going to deplete the roster, especially because Bron is going to be 39, and we don't know how long Bron's going to be playing for the Lakers. And Dallas is going to give him the bag, because that's the only way they're going to be able to keep him, is if they give him the bag.
So I got a question for you, because what you're asking, Kyrie coming to LA or LeBron going to Dallas, which is more likely? And I think the answer is neither. I think they both are probably where they are at the start of the season. Kyrie's on the Mavericks, LeBron's on the LA Lakers. I think that's very, very likely. I think what is less likely, something, if you would ask me this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, does LeBron James play for another team before he's done in the NBA, or does he end his career as a Laker? I said he ends his career as a Laker. I just really, because they've won a championship. Anthony Davis is entering the prime of his career. It's Los Angeles, all the things, his kids, his family.
Moved his family, yeah.
This is the place for him to be, full stop. Now, I think it's far less of a sure thing. I think there are a number of scenarios that exist now where he might play for somebody when it's all said and done. Not that it's going to happen next year or maybe even the year after that, but if you just said to me, does LeBron James play on a team after the Lakers? I think, yeah, probably. I think there's probably a scenario now.
Can I paint a picture for you? I'm going to go more. I'm not going to look a couple years down the road. I said this, when the season ended, and I really do believe it. This could be it with LeBron as a Laker. This upcoming season could be the final year with LeBron James as a Laker. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Sure.
That this upcoming season is his final year, and then he has that player option of $50 million or whatever it is.
And his son is a factor in all of that.
That he ends up somewhere else. That what would be left? I mean, even if you're looking at it from a Laker perspective, when he won the NBA championship with the Lakers back in 2020, I'm sorry, anybody who wants to bitch and complain about LeBron James, he won an NBA championship rocking the purple and the gold.
Sure.
And even this year, which kind of came out of nowhere, they got to the Western Conference Finals, and yes, they got swept by the Denver Nuggets, but they'll be able, I think, to make some tweaks and make a little bit of a run this upcoming year. We'll see what they end up doing. I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is it. You're saying that it might happen in a couple years. I'm with you. I don't think he ends his career with the Lakers.
Would you have said the same thing 2 years ago?
2 years ago?
I've done a 180 on that. It felt like no way to, I think not only is it possible, I think it's likely.
I think last year when he signed the extension and there was the player option and it lined up with Bronny, then I was like, okay, hey, this makes sense for him to go somewhere else.
Yeah, he's still a good player. He's still a guy that draws a ton of attention. He's still a guy that is kind of the heartbeat of the league. Look, I know we're in LA, we're the Laker station, all those things. This will be the topic on all NBA platforms across the league. It'll be the topic on NBA Today. It'll be the topic. It will get mentioned during the NBA Finals when they start Game 3 6 weeks from now.
You're welcome, Michael Malone.
They'll have Michael Malone's presser on a small box, and then they'll have Stephen A. just talking about this.
Can we have less than 4 days between all of these games? Is that too much to ask? It just seems like this series is long.
Lucky. We got lucky because remember they said that.
Well, the Celtics kind of helped us out
big time.
Yes.
Because if it ended, remember we were talking about it was when they're up 3-0. There was going to be 8 or 9 days off before, and the fact that it went 7. I think 7 was on Memorial Day, right, on a Monday. It started on a Thursday.
Yeah.
kind of almost had no break, and now we're back
but that's
to,
not true. They had 2 days off, and then we had another 3 days off,
lined
and
it
now
up
we're having
Thursday
another
to
3
Sunday.
days off.
When's the next one?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Gotta build that
goodness.
tension.
But there's no tension. That's my point. It's just tension is I don't know what's going to happen. This is
Well,
I
it's
don't give
1-1.
a damn what happens. Yeah, but there's no. It could
coin
be game
toss.
7 with a tie game with 10 seconds to go, and there's no tension in my world for this. It's like, can you guys just hurry it up?
Slee, we go into the desert to
I was
catch the
just
next
going to
one?
say, I was
You
just
and
going
me?
to say, are we the only ones? We might be the only ones.
Well, no, you're the only ones not in Denver or Miami potentially, or related to Jimmy Butler or something. I don't know. It just seems like there's
But I
there's a
also
whole lot
have a
going
question
on.
for you guys. Like, maybe we can talk about this at 11. But like, if we want to put on like our tinfoil hats and like just play along with this, what even would a trade look like between LeBron and the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks for something like LeBron?
It's a good question because when you start to get into the nut, like what would you have to get back for something like that? It's
Probably Kyrie.
probably Luka, right? It's like what's the point of it? Like you're going to trade you're 21 for a guy that's
For Maxi Kleber?
literally 24 years old. It seems it's much more interesting to talk about until you start to look at what it would take.
Well, what's kind of funny is before Dallas traded for Kyrie, they had pieces that you liked. Dorian
Yeah.
Finney-Smith. Like, they had some guys. They depleted the roster to get Kyrie. Now what do you deplete
and
to go
quickly
try to
went
get?
from being in the middle of the pack to out of the play-in in the time it took them to execute that deal. Ask Slee coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, we are experiencing a roadway safety crisis and need your help. Join the Go Safely movement and share your thoughts on what actions are needed to make our roads safer. It's a very, very important message from Go Safely California, a proud partner here on 710 ESPN. Go to the website, visit gosafelyca.org, and take a brief survey. I know we really need help in the state of California just to make the road safer. Some ideas from obviously all our public citizens here. Go Safely California from the California Office of Traffic Safety.
It is Mandy's week as we get ready 5 days until the Mandy Awards. Meanwhile, it's Ask Slee time. And Ask Slee presented on this Monday, as always, by our friends at Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. Let's get it rolling. Ask Slee for a Monday right now.
Topic of the day, Al, of course, Kyrie. So we're going to start our Ask Slees in that end of the pool as well. Chris Holmes says, would Kyrie Irving be a solid hang around the campfire in Joshua Tree?
Hell yeah, he would. That'd be amazing. Taylor, can you just imagine all the questions that you can ask? You could kind of just sit
Well, he has
back.
so much knowledge of the world, man.
Yep.
I mean, just to tap into his...
I just, look, here's the thing. I don't even care what his answers are. I'm just fascinated to just throw questions to him and just see where it goes.
So that's the rub right there. You just got to the crux of it. That the first 10 minutes would be fascinating because he'd be saying stuff that you're looking like, okay, he's lost his mind. But at some point, don't you have to push back, and then he just goes crazier and crazier and crazier, or do you just let him regale you with tales
No, but you
of his
push back.
Kyrie-ness?
You push back strategically. You push back just to see what else you can get out of him, and then if it's going haywire, pour yourself another bourbon and just keep it going.
Well, it's going to go haywire. You either have to lean into the absurdity
craziness.
of it all, or you're going to have to. Yeah, can you just stop? Can we?
For
just,
all I
can we
know-
just listen to Game 1 on the radio?
For all I know, 2 hours in, I'm all in with Kyrie. I'm coming
turned
out
you
here,
around.
and I am
Made some points.
I am
Flat earther.
protecting him.
It really is flat, isn't it? You're right. It is.
How would
flat.
we know?
No one
Fall
ever
right
landed
over.
on the moon. The whole thing
No.
is a put on. Media day next season. Kyrie is a Laker.
Okay.
It's your turn to ask him a question. What's the first thing you ask him? Hashtag Ask Slee.
Kyrie, right?
Is Kyrie right? First question I ask him: do you still have season tickets? Second question I ask him: what do we ask Kyrie? Help me out with this. What are we asking Kyrie in a media day question?
What's it like playing with LeBron again? Probably something like that.
But do you want it to be basketball or you want
No.
it to just be random?
Not neither. It can't be super basketball-y, but
Okay.
it can't be like totally off
I
the
got
grid
one.
either.
It's a little basketball-y, but it's
Yep.
also a little... Why do you think you've played for so many teams in such a short stretch of time?
Yes, that's the right question. For as good of a player as you are, why are you on a new team every 18 months? That's the question.
Because he wants to win.
But he never does, since Cleveland.
He hates
Right.
you already, Slee.
And that's why I came back for
Yeah.
to play with LeBron, because I won with him. I'm playing the Kyrie in this situation.
When did you know you're going to play with LeBron again? When did you know that it was going to happen? Something like that. It would be something adjacent to his
For all
deals.
that Kyrie does have...
That's the question, Slee. What's your deal? Maybe it's as simple as that.
What gives you the right?
for all the Kyrie stuff, and I'm with. I mean, it's like I don't really know what he's going to do, what he's going to say, any of that stuff. Fascinating is not the right word, but it's very like, all right, how can you possibly, for as much talent as he has, to end up on a new squad
But, okay,
every single
It's a
year?
good question, but the answer
I wouldn't
is
ask him
obvious.
that. Yeah, I wouldn't
But
ask
the question, why are you on a new team every year? It's everybody knows because he's just so peculiar. He's so weird. He's tough to have. His teammates love him. Management does not. That when you don't play a lot, when you're constantly tweaking people,
Yeah.
it's just like I just don't want to do this anymore.
Do you think your jersey will be retired in Brooklyn?
Boston first. Boston, then Brooklyn. Capitano Matt. Some people have trouble pronouncing the word cinnamon. What word trips you up?
All right, cinnamon is not a problem.
No.
I think we did different versions of crayon, and what was yours? Crayon.
Emily's a crayon person, I believe, yes?
Oh, yeah, crayon.
I'm crayon.
It's okay.
Well, yours is right.
I acknowledge that.
But I don't even know if it's right.
It
I
is.
just
Look
that's
at the
what I've
letters.
heard everybody else.
We have to admit that letters
English
mean
make-
things. The order of letters means something.
Yep.
Otherwise, anything could be spelled any way. I could spell Travis with a 6 and a question mark.
But
There-
also, you look at the word Q, Q-U-E-U-E. The U-E-U-E doesn't even mean anything, okay? The English
But
language is ridiculous.
we've all agreed that that's Q, right?
Okay.
Like, crayon is
What happened to
C-R-A,
America?
Cray.
Clearly, you haven't agreed on crayon because I say crayon.
Well,
So does
they're not gonna
Tyler.
get 100%.
Harbaugh.
I am too. I'm a crayon person too.
I think
but it's
Harbaugh.
wrong.
I was like Harbaugh.
Hardbog.
I was like Harbagadi.
You were like Harbog, like a cranberry bog. Oh, Jim Cranberry Harbog.
It was also when you said, I think you said the Sopranos extension movie was like Newark. You said
Newark.
Oh, yeah.
You can Newark.
Many Saints of Newark.
Newark.
Yep. New arc.
We'll just stick with that. Porky says, which host would be the one to have a burner account and defend himself after a not-so-good show? This is easy, right? I feel like this
Mace.
is-
I think Mace had a burner account.
Yeah.
And probably still does.
I was going to say, why are you saying that in the past tense?
Okay, so here's my question about that. And I think you agree with me. Does it seem like a lot of work? It's not a lot of work, but just mentally I feel like, so wait, I got to create a new account? And I probably wouldn't be creative enough to where people wouldn't be able to tie it back to me. Like, why does it
Salin
say...
Alwa.
Why does
what it
it
would
say
be.
that? Yeah, I think it's a lot of work.
Yeah, Mason's the answer.
Nor do I want to try to defend anything. I just
Ireland
kind of want to
wouldn't
leave
do
it alone.
I wouldn't do it. I don't think
Sedona would do it.
Cap
maybe.
Cap's the
Yeah, Cap-
second
yeah,
best
Cap maybe.
pick, but yeah, I think that it's Mason, and then maybe if you got to go plan B, it's
Yeah.
Cap. Francis and Glendale, what's more annoying, YouTube ads with no skip option,
Mm-hmm.
or anytime Kyrie Irving says anything?
The ads, listen, the fact that we can skip now, and you got ones that probably 5 seconds or so, and then you could skip the ad.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That was like a big development in our
The
society.
step forward.
Yeah, that was a big. Now I also have YouTube where I don't have ads, so I don't have to
paid the
deal with
premium.
that. But I have to deal with ads and everything else. Not being able to skip and just waiting also for the skip and it's not coming up is very frustrating.
We're
It's
so
very
spoiled
frustrating
because-
why are you clicking on the page in the bottom right when there's not even an arrow there to
Maybe they
skip?
forgot to put it there, but it's hiding under the graphic or something. That we're so impatient for 5 seconds.
Okay.
You're literally staring. 5, 4, 3. It's 5 seconds. Your life's
What's
gonna be
more
just
annoying?
fine.
That you can't skip the ad or you can't find the X to close the ad.
That's the worst.
That's the worst.
Because they hide it. The X is white, and they'll put it on a white background, and you're just randomly clicking.
And then
corners.
it's moving sometimes, so then I actually click on the ad, and now I'm going off to a new page.
I'm sure it's still out there.
And it
There's
said
that
just
one-
downloaded everything.
Did you ever see that where you try to click on the X and it constantly moves and you can never catch it?
Come on.
I thought I was going insane. John, would you rather have a mullet, a perm, or dreadlocks?
Oh, dreadlocks. Yeah, I'd rather have dreadlocks. Listen, the perm, don't get me wrong. Going back to Coming to America,
Okay.
right? With Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, the dude that had the perm, I forget his
Soul
name.
Glow. Yeah.
Hey, don't get me wrong. If I could have one of those, that's amazing.
Is your natural hair curly? Didn't you say you had a fro at one point?
I did have a fro. It's not curly.
Okay, so that was a perm.
Did you curl it? Like, did you
No.
get the, what's that stuff, the permanent put into it?
No.
No, just.
No. Yeah, no, it didn't. No.
So how
It
did you
just-
have a perm?
Just kind of. No, I didn't have a
Oh,
perm.
okay.
No, I
I'm like,
I got confused for a second too, but I didn't have a perm. I would like. I would
you said
like
it wasn't
a perm.
natural, though, I thought.
I just don't have a perm. But that is like the most baller thing for him. I just can't do that. Not that I can do dreads, but I think dreads. You kind of throw me into like a reggae mix, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
he's
I'd
in
say
there.
that's
just throw him
that's
in
more your lane. Crypto Ray, which teenage character from a teen movie best represents you when you were a teen?
there. Jeez. Teenage movie represented me as a teen.
Dazed and Confused?
Which character?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Really?
No, I haven't.
It's good.
All right, all right, all
No,
right.
Al's not Wooderson. Not a chance.
Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, I got one sort of. Okay, Jonah Hill
In
in
Superbad?
Superbad.
Superbad?
Are you kidding me?
There was a little bit of kind of this, trying to I'm gonna bring liquor to this. I mean,
Like a little on the outside,
Little
but
bit
like
on
could
the
have fun.
that wasn't. It's not the best description because I really didn't drink at all in high school or any of that stuff. So I was a little bit more I just wasn't doing that.
Detergent containers and filling.
But it
with
was like,
beer.
it's like, okay, hey,
Bloody
this girl,
pants.
she might have some interest. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever I got to do, that kind of thing.
You're helping your buddies, like you're
Yeah,
helping
bit of
McLovin
that.
and all that good stuff.
Other
that.
than the fighting, because I never really wanted to fight anybody, I think I was Johnny Lawrence in The Karate Kid. I thought I had it way more figured out than I actually did. I had this ridiculous amount of self-confidence that was not well earned.
That's even better if it's not.
It wasn't. Who in high school does, right? Everybody's faking all of this stuff. I'll take a little Johnny Lawrence. One more. Prime Susan Sarandon or Renee Russo? Both beautiful women.
Renee
Talented
Russo.
actresses. No bad choices.
Also,
I would have
of
gone the
course
other
you
way.
would-
Both good choices.
Of course, you pick the villain.
Huh?
Isn't Johnny
Yes.
Lawrence the villain? Of
Yes,
course, you pick the
until
villain.
Cobra Kai, and then he becomes the
Of course.
protagonist.
Every villain gets their hero arc
Yeah,
eventually.
we just had to come around. Both good choices, Slee. I'm not disappointed.
Good work out of all our people out there.
Well, we only did one last week. They were probably
We did
backed up
one.
on their ass sleeves.
Wednesday will be the first Ask Slee of the month, the first Wednesday Ask Slee. So T-Raj back in the seat.
I'm
so
doing it.
Wednesday.
I'm doing it Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh,
It's just the first. We'll do the first
I see what you're saying.
Wednesday of the
Okay.
month.
Works for me.
T-Raj. Bro, they like asking you all the random
I
questions.
like to
so-
answer the random questions.
perfect.
I feel like that's my lane for sure. All right. So Kyrie wants LeBron to come to the Mavericks reportedly. What would that actually look like? That's coming up. Plus, we'll do a little Bobby Miller, who is
Yeah, he's
sorry-
pretty good.
Sorry, Outman. You're out. That's next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, Ask Slee is brought to you by Harris Resort SoCal. Get in a funner state of mind with a grown-up getaway to Harris Resort SoCal. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Just go to the website, harrissocal.com, 2 hours away from downtown L.A., located in northern San Diego, harrissocal.com.
It's Slee, your Monday Mandy's week is underway. 5 days until the second annual Mandy Awards Saturday night at the Commerce Casino. Party, party, oh party. We get you ready all week long. Right now, Travis and Sliwa continues your Monday on 710.
Work all night and I drink a rum.
Kind of picturing you with the dreads as I hear the music and I'm looking across. Just nice, like over your shoulders, halfway down your back. Like I'm full
So
deal.
I can have the dreads, just not going to have much hair here. But, I mean, I'm going to kill it. Kill it on the sides and the back.
like a
Don't
dreads
laugh.
mullet kind of situation going on. Nothing in the front, dreads in the back. I think that,
Yeah, that'd look a little interesting.
Somebody suggested you could have been the Wolf from Teen Wolf as the your
I
teenage
like that.
guy.
I like that.
Were
Yeah.
you a ball hog?
No, I grew up watching Magic. Are you kidding me? I'm trying to get 14 assists a game.
Yeah, but Scott, the Wolf would shoot every time, so you can't be the Wolf.
Just the fact that he was on a basketball floor is close enough.
That is one of the worst basketball. I like the movie, it's
Yeah.
a good movie because
Yep.
it's just kind of goofy and silly. But the basketball in Teen Wolf is by far the worst basketball ever.
Could not disagree more. I thought their 2-2-1 zone that they ran a couple different times in that movie just caught me off guard. I was not expecting so many adjustments in the movie from game to game.
Michael J. Fox shoots a jump shot from the free throw line, like launches himself forward. He looks at the floor while he's dribbling the
Yep.
ball. Then they cut and he runs forward, and then he looks at the floor. They let the guy stand underneath the basket as he shoots the game-winning free throws. There's a lot going on in there.
I saw Ray Allen. I closed my eyes
I'm gonna
and I
need
saw
you to,
Ray
I'm going
Allen.
to need you to rewatch that. I don't think you remember.
I'm
it
not
well.
kidding. I probably haven't watched in 20 years.
Yeah, neither have I, but it offended me to such a degree that I've never been able to let it go.
So there's a lot of people that don't know this, but Travis, as big of a sports fan as he is, cannot stand movies and scenes in movies where the sports portion is awful.
Takes me out of it.
You start kind of breaking down. I'm with you. I just don't look like an idiot. Don't look like you've never picked up a basketball.
Or don't shoot it.
Don't look like you've never thrown a football. Don't look like nobody's asking for a slider coming in 2-2 pitch in any baseball movie.
Just don't show it.
But also don't look like you've never thrown a baseball, a basketball, or a football
That's why
before.
Ted Lasso can sometimes be annoying because it's like the way that they film the Ted Lasso stuff. It's also there's no great way to do it if you're not playing actual soccer players, but also like being inside the pitch and everything. It's really hard.
It's the equivalent of putting me in a hockey movie and saying throw some skates on
I've never seen you skate or hold a hockey stick.
because I've never done any.
You are Wayne Gretzky compared to Michael J. Fox playing basketball. That's what I know to be true.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
This is why Kevin Costner was the actor in every good sports movie, because he's a good athlete, because he can swing a bat, he can throw, he can swing a golf club. This is why. Why part of the reason that White Men Can't Jump worked really well as a movie, Woody Harrelson can play basketball.
Yeah.
It looked like he knew what he was doing, much more so than Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes, I feel like they edited around his portions a little bit. Just get close enough.
Just get close enough.
Don't show Tim Robbins throwing, just so Crash Davis hitting home runs.
Is this the
That's why Space Jam
equivalent?
is great. You know, I love seeing the Looney Tunes go out and play. The whatever the other team was. I've only watched it
Monstars?
once. Yeah, the Monstars.
Is this the equivalent of having somebody play? Just as an example, like it's Rocky or something like that. But the guy on the other side is incredibly out of shape, and you can tell has never boxed before. Or it's like a runner who you could just look at him like the guy's 80 pounds overweight, and he's not. Just don't use him.
It's
Use
a
somebody
distance
else.
runner.
I think it's the equivalent of that in sports.
It's the exact same thing.
Okay.
It's the exact same thing. So, Emily, take us through what happened to you in Santa Barbara. Emily showed me a picture of her twisted ankle that just – I want everybody to know, Emma, as you're telling this story, this is not, she twisted her ankle and it is messed up. Like she's
My foot is purple.
purple and green and all sorts of – there's a lot going on.
Yeah. So I got to Santa Barbara around on Friday, so I had the day off. I went up, drove up with my friends. So I got to Santa Barbara, and then we were gonna do a cruise, a sunset cruise in Santa Barbara. So I had 2 drinks. I wasn't
That means
like
5.
All right.
I wasn't.
By the way, having
down.
2 drinks
Two drinks never
doesn't,
means two
and you
drinks.
also don't. We don't know how much alcohol is in each drink.
Yeah, neither do I.
One drink can have 4 shots of alcohol for all we know, so please continue.
Our guy Riley on the boat was probably, he knew
Generous?
it was my birthday weekend, so he's probably being generous. Anyway, so we got off the boat onto the pier. So if those who haven't been to Santa Barbara's pier, you can drive on it. So there's 2 sides of the pier that are for pedestrians, one thing in the middle that is for cars, and we are crossing from the pedestrian side to the other pedestrian side to go to the restroom. And so there's little ledges that separate the car lane from the
Like
pedestrian
wooden
lane.
curbs.
Yeah, essentially. So I was trying to get over the wooden curve, and I put one foot on top of the curve and then went to go step with the other one, and essentially I felt like I fell into a hole. That hole was non-existent. It was my ankle turning. So then I fell down, and I, was embarrassed. But I also may or may not have passed out. So
but you did
lost
not hit your
consciousness.
head.
I didn't hit my head. None of my friends. I asked my friends.
So
I
much
fell.
going on here. Okay. You passed out?
I may have
From
lost
the alcohol.
consciousness for a second. And it's something that happens with me.
You mentioned that before, that you will
Yes.
faint occasionally
Sometimes
when you hurt yourself.
my body's trauma response to instant pain is to lose consciousness, and it's something that's happened to me in middle school and high school and all that stuff. It's something I kind of deal with. So if I bump my elbow really hard, I could pass out, kind of thing. So anyway, I'm on the ground.
I know that.
Careful.
I am in pain, and my friends are trying to help me. Don't know what to do. Don't know what happened really, like how it happened.
You just dropped.
Yeah, and I'm essentially right outside the bathroom. So there are people that come out, and I open my eyes, and there's my friends, but there's also some strangers. And they're like, oh, can we help you? And I was just like, I appreciate you stopping, but please get the you-know-what out of my face. I was like, I'm in pain. I don't want you near me. Please continue walking.
Okay.
It was more like I just...
Well, then, you too.
Exactly.
That interaction.
And I expect that response, and
Yeah.
I don't care because I'm in a lot of pain. Because I was like, I don't need 8 people in my face.
Could you walk?
I got up and tried to walk, but the funniest thing. So
Look, I'm rolling. I'm holding it. I'm out 3 to 6 weeks. I'm already playing all the. I need an MRI.
But it's like the start of the week, and I don't want to be a bummer. And so, anyway, the funniest thing, everyone's worried about me. Everyone's standing over me, asking me what's wrong. This woman who was on our boat, who was by herself on the boat, she was definitely having a great time, probably a better
Did she just
time than
have
us.
2 drinks too?
More than I did.
No. She had one.
So
She had one.
She comes out of the bathroom and asking, what she didn't even ask what happened. She was just observing.
Had you been talking to her on the boat?
Somewhat, she's near us, so she recognized our faces and everything.
Okay.
And my friend had a hot toddy in a cup, and so once things calmed down a bit, she's like, so what's in that drink? And I was like, okay, we're just breaking the silence there. So then I kind of got up, tried to hobble around, and it hurts a lot. And I went to urgent care the next morning, and they didn't take my specific insurance. So I decided to wait until I got back to LA. So we're getting x-rays today. So we'll see what happened to the ankle.
Damn.
So, but I still had a great time. Love Santa Barbara, but just, was really, honestly, I think it's a curse on me that I can't take days off.
You know when
worst part is
yeah.
that it happened the first night they were there.
Right.
Like if this happens on Sunday on your way to town, it still stinks, but at least
Right.
you got the weekend in. You
Exactly.
we were talking on Thursday afternoon, like, oh, you should try this place, and everything kind of close enough to walk or at least short Ubers. And now because she was on one leg, they had to drive everywhere they went.
Yes, and it's someone asked on Twitter. Tim the OC said, "Is Emily on the injured list for the Mandy's?" I don't know. I'll be there. I will step up to the plate and be my best sense of self.
Well,
I'm not sitting out the Mandy's.
bedazzle your
Not.
boot.
But Tim,
Yeah, exactly.
Tim has to. I mean, like we said, we're going to get an X-ray first. There's a lot that has to happen. We're going to know within the next 24, 48 hours how
The
she's
team's
feeling
looking.
for the Mandy's.
The team's looking at it.
It would have been one of those things. Like I saw when I saw her this morning, I popped my head into her office. I said, "How'd Santa Barbara go?" And then right as I said it, I saw crutches up against her chair. I'm like, I
That's
think I
not
already
good.
know the answer to this. Then
Yeah.
I looked down at your feet,
Yeah.
and I saw that you had the brace on your ankle.
Yeah.
And then you showed me the picture, and it looks like she'd run a marathon on one leg.
My
Does it-
foot was 3 times the size as the other one.
It was pretty swollen.
Yeah,
Does it? Has the swelling come down?
a little bit.
Okay.
It's still very purple.
Did the alcohol come into play at all? 5%,
Okay, so
10%.
I
know,
think
Trav.
it would have happened. I think it would have happened either way.
Play this out here.
Okay, I think it would have happened
I
either
saw your
way.
head turn this way.
It's like, really?
Yep.
I
It would have
think-
happened either way.
I think it's my shoes. I think I've injured myself in another instance in these shoes, and I think these shoes need to be retired.
I was going to say, these
in
shoes
most
are
ways.
gone, right?
They're not gone. They're very expensive shoes, so I'm gonna maybe just
Yeah,
use
well,
them.
so are getting your legs broken.
And your insurance not working at the.
yeah,
Well, these
the
shoes
spot.
cost me $80. Yeah, getting your ankle reset will be more.
way
I
more
promise.
than $80.
Yeah.
but
Okay,
just
we've all done this.
Yeah.
We've all done this. Why are playing basketball? Anyways, but you've turned ankles. Why the initial pain of an ankle injury? Why is that like you just got shot in the leg? Like, why is the ankle injury? And by the way, 3 minutes goes by and you're like, okay, I'm alive. Everything's going to be okay. But the initial pain of a ankle injury, it's like, cut it off. No, there's no way I could survive.
Is it not because it's just all of your weight is on it? Is it just that when you take that weird step?
But you have certain things in your body
yeah,
that
but there's
you can,
never
you can get.
your weight, like the entire weight of your body is never on your elbows or your shoulders. I guess you could fall and put your hand down or something,
Yeah.
and that's when it comes out of joint and you're screwed.
But rest assured, guys, people are tweeting at me. We had a great weekend. We still did a
All right,
lot
good.
of fun stuff.
Good.
And I had a good time. You just was hurting at the same time.
Did you have trouble getting the crutches in and out of Ubers?
A little bit.
You open the trunk.
Pop the trunk. I got to throw my crutches in there.
Yeah, it was more like the act of
gotten the
actually
front
getting
seat.
to the car. Yeah, I did get in the front seat in some because it was more room. Because
I would
didn't want to
sit
bend my
in the back
leg.
and have my crutches facing the driver. It's just like right near their chin.
I'm glad you made it in. I'm sorry that you rolled your ankle.
You're a trooper for still doing everything you did. I don't know. I would just be, I'm posting up at home. Good night, guys.
Yeah.
I did spend a good amount to get the VRBO that we got. So, yeah.
There is a point where it's like, look, I'm already spent all the money. I'm not just sitting in the room. We got to go do these things. I'm glad that you're feeling okay. Let me know if the shoes were worth the X-rays that you get
For sure.
later
I'll
today.
see which is more
Yeah,
expensive.
I think you should sacrifice the shoes. I don't know how much they cost, but I'm just saying that having both working feet seems important.
I agree.
They're
not as stable as we initially thought.
No, well, she tripped on the wooden curb at the pier. I've walked that pier. It's the curbs. I mean, it could happen, I guess.
There was that
Sober, less so.
There was that doc.
Okay, I also just got off a boat, so maybe getting my sea legs.
Stick with that.
Yeah, that one's a
Stick
better
with
one.
That works. I was on a boat. It's fine. I was a little discombobulated. I had a little bit of the the queeze, a little bit of the.
Sounds like a lawsuit.
The pier was moving. The seas were choppy.
Who's getting sued here? Is it the shoe brand or is it
everybody?
The boating
everybody.
company.
Go after everybody.
Riley
The boat-
is over-serving me. Who knows? Who knows?
All right, Kyrie wants LeBron to come to Dallas. Is there any possible way that you could actually find a deal there? That's next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
Is the show that begins 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
glad you got a chance to go to Joshua Tree for a couple days out, but I'm kind of bummed that you didn't get to see how giddy I was to get to talk to Oral Hershiser. You would have held it against me for a while.
It's all over the socials, which is lovely.
I know. It was great.
Check it out.
I loved every second of it.
That's perfect.
It was great.
I mean, the fact that you set that up when we left is unbelievable to me. That you decided that, all right, Taylor's not going to be there to just keep hogging the mic, okay? Right. So we know how Taylor won't stop talking.
Sure.
Emily's not going to be there to dictate how long this thing is going to go because she's producing. That I'm not in your way, and just certainly move Slee to the side. I'm surprised it didn't kind of leak into start Mason Ireland at 2.
I would have been fine with it. We could have sat
Usually
here
you're
all
talking
day
about
and talked
112, and
Yeah.
here you are.
It was terrific.
That's awesome.
It was terrific. Andy was here. Brian was here. Funch was here. Taylor was here. Or I'm sorry, Tyler. Tyler, were you here on Friday or no?
I wasn't here on
You were
Friday.
here on Thursday.
Obviously am tremendously upset I wasn't here, but yeah, no, I wasn't here.
It just Brian and Funch's huge Oral and Jaime Harin guys. So
Amazing.
Did you ask if they needed a new best friend or a fill-in host?
I was just looking for any sort of opportunity for them to say, you know what you should do? You should join. Yes. I was just waiting for any chance to spend more time with those guys.
I know you probably have 30 highlights from sitting with them for as long as you did. Just couple stuff that stood out.
The number one thing that stood out to me was that Jaime Harin did 4,000 Dodger games in a row without missing one.
Wow.
4,000.
What?
Not
are
4.
you talking
400
about?
is like 3 seasons without missing one.
What
Think
are you
about
talking
today.
about?
Right. 4,000 Dodger games in a row. And the only reason the streak came to an end is because the Olympics came to Los Angeles in 1984, and he went to cover the Olympics on the radio.
So still working.
Still working. Yeah, he didn't take a vacation. He went and covered the Olympics. Covered the Thrilla in Manila back in the 70s.
My gosh.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Not
That's
too bad.
awesome.
Talked
That is
to
amazing.
Oral about the Kirk Gibson home run. That was kind of cool. I don't know about you, but that's kind of an important moment in my life.
I'm sure a lot of Dodger fans were loving that conversation.
It was great.
My favorite was when Andy brought up the Teen Titans Go.
Great.
So Alan, I don't know if you heard the interview, but in Teen Titans Go, they're talking about oral hygiene, and a character goes off. Oh, I know oral hygiene. Oral hygiene was the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. It had this whole 2-minute rant saying that
That's
oral
awesome.
hygiene and oral Hershiser.
He had 59 scoreless innings in a row as the NLCS MVP, and he's a World Series MVP. It was great.
If
Oral
you haven't
liked
seen it, check
That
it
is
out
awesome.
on the socials. ESPN LA posted it.
It was great. Look, I think it went well. Maybe they'll come back. Maybe we can ask him again. When are you going to Joshua
I was just
Tree
going to say, the moment I'm gone, you're going to ask again.
No, you're going to be here for the next one for sure. All right, so Kyrie reportedly, according to Shams, has spoken to LeBron and talked to him about the idea of coming to Dallas. We've talked a lot about Kyrie coming to L.A., but Kyrie apparently is saying to LeBron, no, why don't you come this way? You don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that it's going to take a matter of days or so before somebody says, guys, this can't happen, and here are the 10 reasons why it can't happen. Is there any package that exists where the Lakers would be like, yeah, this is actually intriguing for us, that doesn't include Luka? Because that's the only thing that they have that you'd want. So what the idea just right out of the gate is a non-starter.
So a couple things happens when – take a player like LeBron James at this stage of his career, all right? Luka is – you got the Dallas Mavericks that are trying to make a case for Luka. Luka, stick around here. We are going to put a competitive team around you. They went and traded for Kyrie Irving, and a lot of people say, what the hell were you doing? Why'd they do what they did? To be honest with you, things can change with that trade. Okay, last year was a wash. You kept your number 10 pick. Now you get a chance to go – get an opportunity to kind of remold the roster and now go get some defensive players. It wouldn't be a shock if Kyrie and Luka are competitive next year together with a roster that makes sense. Oh, yeah, it doesn't really make sense is if you brought in a guy like LeBron James, don't you completely deplete your roster again the way they depleted their roster to go get Kyrie? You start depleting it. Do you have – if LeBron, Kyrie, and Luka found a way to be on a roster interesting, fun, a lot of offense. How are you going to get stops? I think there are a lot of question marks with that roster right out the gate. Why would LeBron want to get traded somewhere where every asset that you have is gone?
I'm with you. They already got rid of everything. The reason that they were as bad as they were is that none of the other pieces made any sense. They gave away draft picks. They did all of these things. What's like at some point it's like I can't sell anything else. I sold everything. I'm out of things to sell.
So they don't have to play off of that. If before the Kyrie trade, if you had some assets, you don't really have any assets left.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you'd be trading to try to make some type of a deal with the Lakers. And here's a question you got to ask yourself from a Laker perspective: it's as simple as this. Is it done? Is that window done? A year ago, you could have
LeBron window.
Yeah, a year ago you could have made the case and sat here with me and just said, Al, appreciate what you got with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Appreciate that you won that championship in 2020, but it's a wrap, buddy. They're not going to be competing again. And then this year happened. Mm-hmm. And this year, however you want to look at it, you could look at this year in a couple different ways. You could say they went 18-8 since the trade deadline. They did a lot of that without LeBron James.
Yep.
They had to fit in pieces that they built a team, but the team was just put together. So to have that much success that quick, that's not very common. Mm-hmm. They made a run to the Western Conference Finals. They're much closer to accomplishing what Bron would hope to accomplish at this stage of his career than I think the Dallas Mavericks would be.
I agree.
So I think that I don't really think you have anything on the other side that would be interesting for the Lakers. And you'd also have to decide for the Lakers to say, okay, hey, this thing is over. This run is over. Let's start moving on.
Well,
and I don't think they're prepared for that.
Well, that's the tricky part. There's two things in there. You said, okay, are they closer than the Dallas Mavericks? Yes. But are they close? I think that's the question that Rob Pelinka needs to figure out. That are we better than half of the West? Yeah, I think we probably are. But are we better than the very top part of it? That's the trickier question. I don't know. That's part one. The other part is this year was interesting because everything you said is right, and I think it would be really interesting to just and not even interesting, very easy to say, hey, look, we were pretty good with this group. Let's run it back. Let's let's fix this and make sure that Austin Reeves gets what he wants. Let's keep Rui. Let's very small moves in the margins to try to improve this team, and that's fine. But again, LeBron James is going into his 21st season in the league. That is a huge question mark. Will he be good? Yeah. How good? I don't know. How healthy? I don't know. Anthony Davis was much better for the last couple of months of the season and the postseason, but there's still questions about his health. There's still questions about his consistency on one end of the floor. So are they better than they were, go back to this time, 2022? Yeah, they're light years better than they were. But that doesn't mean that's what it's going to be like next year. And that's the trickiest part of all if you're Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss and LeBron James and everybody who's trying to figure out, where do we slot in here? Because what just happened is not guaranteed to happen next year. LeBron, year 21, all bets are off. He'll probably be pretty darn good, but you can't – it's not like that, oh, no, you know exactly what you're going to get from him. I don't know anymore. It'll be good, but how good?
Okay, so I think this part is safe to say that the Lakers, they got to get better in the offseason. Even if they ran it back, I think they're going to be an interesting team, see what happens at the trade deadline. But you're right about the Bron piece. I think the Anthony Davis piece, he just continues to tell you guys, I'm a beast on this side. Yeah. I'm probably not going to take over games on the offensive end. That's just not me. That's not my personality. That's not the way you want me to. So they're going to need more talent. To play off of what you just said, too, what's the competition in the West this offseason? I'll tell you what it is. Clippers are clearly all in. They're going to keep trying to go all in. They are. Yeah. And if they're healthy, they're going to be very, very competitive.
Yeah, but I mean, we've been saying that for 5 years and it hasn't happened.
You're right. Maybe it happens. Maybe it doesn't.
The Clippers are one of the few I feel comfortable just going, whatever.
The Golden State Warriors, I don't know what they're doing, but
they'll be worse next year than they were this year.
But they have gone all in for 10 straight years, and they have young assets to continue to go all in if they choose to. The Denver Nuggets are in the NBA Finals. They're the best team in the Western Conference.
Yes.
Sacramento's up and coming.
Yes.
The Pelicans are up and coming. Zion, hopefully healthy, whatever the case is. Who am I missing in this mix here so far?
San Antonio's going to be a lot better.
You got teams like the San Antonio Spurs, the Phoenix Suns.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. So
Oklahoma City.
The only reason why I mentioned that is there's a lot of teams.
Utah.
There's a lot of teams that are all in right, and maybe not even all in, but they're improving, they're ascending,
They're trending
whatever
in
the
the
case
right
is.
direction,
Yeah.
and that's why. I don't. This isn't going to happen. The Mavericks thing is not going to happen. But what's interesting about it is the theory behind it. The theory behind it being, when do you decide? Okay, I know we're close, but we're not good enough. And maybe they're thinking we are good enough. We are close enough. Not now. It's a year from now, 2 years from now. But the underlying theory is, what exactly do we have relative to the rest of the West? And I don't know if there's a really clear-cut answer, because 3 or 4 of those teams that we think are going to be good will be. 1 or 2 that we think won't be probably will be.
Yep.
1 or 2 will go the other direction, but you're going to have, you saw it this year, the Lakers had to play until the last week of the season to get into the play-in tournament. They're not going to have to do that next year, but there's going to be a lot of good teams at the back half of the West. That Oklahoma City, for instance, that's a team that gets better year after year. Next year is going to be the year where not only are they don't stink anymore, they're actually pretty darn good along the way. That's going to happen. San Antonio, Wembanyama, if he's even half as good as everybody's saying he is, that goes from the worst team in basketball to a team that you got to beat.
A lot of competition. Competition is only getting tougher.
Dallas for LeBron. Not happening. Kyrie to L.A., I still think that's what this is. I think this is the first move in since that didn't work out, how about I just come to your house? That's what this feels like. I don't think the Lakers are going to do that either, but time will tell. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, Sierra Subaru of Monrovia, a quick shout-out to them. Got a chance to drive over the last 4 days the 2023 Subaru Ascent. It's their SUV, seats up to 8 passengers. What a wonderful, wonderful experience, and a beautiful, beautiful SUV. I took it out to Joshua Tree for a few days. The brand is amazing. I got a chance to drive the 2023 Outback, now the 2023 Ascent. I could not be more compliment the brand as much as I can over at Sierra Subaru Monrovia, but there's more to it than just selling cars. They do a lot for the local community by focusing on the very impactful Subaru Love Promise. Every Saturday morning in June, Sierra Subaru Monrovia is sponsoring Santa Anita's YMCA healthy cooking classes, from Little Chef's Kitchen Adventures for young children ages 3 to 12. I'm going to be there June 17th. I'm going to participate in one of these events. I'm looking so forward to it, and it's for such a great cause. Also, in the spirit of Pride Month, visit Sierra Subaru of Monrovia and receive a Subaru Love Pride TerraCycle bracelet to help drive positive change. Go to sierrasubaru.com or visit them at 735 East Central Avenue in Monrovia, just off the 210 freeway.
Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap.
That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, I hope that Funchess also does a hey guys before
He did do one.
It's lovely.
He absolutely did. It wasn't bad either.
Love that. Also, those of you tweeting that I'm like Kawhi or I'm like AD, again, I show up.
You do.
I come in the day after I get injured.
Damn right you do.
You know, I asked off for this ahead of time, and then I happened to.
And you showed up for the whole weekend.
I was going to say,
exactly.
If you were like Kawhi, you just would have not shown up to work today. No one would even know why.
I'm shooting free throws in the Achilles torn, you know?
Yeah, you're Kobe.
Exactly. All right, so Thursday, before I went away for the weekend, I went and saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I will not be spoiling anything, obviously. Please don't tune out if that is happening, but I think it's a fantastic movie. It is 2.5 hours long, so again, get into that for that. But first question about this. You believe in the idea of the multiverse, that there are other universes where you exist and you have a different role in society. So you believe in the concept of the multiverse. Travis, Factor Cap.
Cap. I do not. I am a very linear sort of guy, Al. This is what it is, and you get X amount of time here, and when that's that, that's that. There is no more before. There is no more after. You get one shot at this and try to do the best you can with it. And I don't know if there's a version of a Travis somewhere out there that's a heart surgeon or a custodian or something else. I don't know what it is. I know I just got this one.
Al?
Yeah, I'm Cap on this one, too. I'm just too stupid for this. My mind cannot expand that far. And I can't really grasp what the hell is going on. And I can't really grasp in a multiverse. And then there's me coming into something else. And I can't do it. I'm not telling you, people say that, well, you don't think we're the only
I believe that.
Beings here.
In the universe.
Right. And I'm just like, yeah, but can you send me a photo? Can you just show me a little something?
The Navy has photos.
Why is everything so...
You got to talk to Kyrie about that, Slee.
Why is everything so grainy and everything else? We have all this technology.
Moves
the
too
military
fast.
has it.
Not that. We don't have that technology. What about the simulation? There's a lot of very smart people, scientists, guys that do think multidimensionally, like you're talking about, that say that there is the possibility that this is all a simulation.
So you believe in simulation, but not in the multiversal
I don't, because for the reason that Al said, I can't wrap my head around it.
That's the thing.
Really smart people do.
I still go Cap.
Taylor?
Still Cap.
I'm Cap on this too. I don't think that there are another versions of me out there, but I think there's probably multiverses or different universes out there with other people, just not me.
Okay. Tyler?
Yeah, I'm Cap here too. While I love the idea of living in the simulation and having an explanation for why we experience deja vu and whatever have you, I think that the whole concept of there being a multiverse or other versions of me is just absurd.
I really dislike deja vu. That is a super creepy.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
That is. I've never been here before in my life, and I'm positive I've been in this spot before.
It's also the easiest explanation for there being a simulation, right?
Yes.
How else can you justify that you're having a memory of doing something that you're experiencing for the first time?
Hard pass on all deja vu.
I just got a migraine.
My least favorite thing, and when people say deja vu all over again, that's just a repetitive sentence.
It's like ATM machine.
Exactly. Just say
bread roll is my favorite one.
Yeah,
bread roll.
Yeah, ATM machine.
Deja
machine.
vu all over again.
And you know what? ATM machine is actually a joke in Across the Spider-Verse.
Is it?
Let you know that. Okay, I have another Across the Spider-Verse adjacent thing. And by the way, I do believe in the multiverse. Also, it's something that's come out of the pandemic that we've had so many multiversal stories being told. I think because we're all trying to believe.
What are the alternate Emilys up to?
I think maybe one went to be a lawyer.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do in college. I think one maybe is a teacher because that's also something I wanted to do in elementary school. I think it's all these things are different spots, or maybe one stayed in
inflection
network.
points.
Exactly. The two roads diverged in a Yellowwood kind of idea. So Across the Spider-Verse is the second movie in a trilogy. It's not a spoiler. There is a third movie. So got me thinking. All the best sequels I've ever seen have been the second movie in a trilogy. So some other examples of that is The Dark Knight, Empire Strikes Back, Indiana Jones trilogy. There's the Godfather 2, things like that. The only good sequels are the second movie in a trilogy. Alan, fact or cap?
I think I lean more towards fact on this. And I don't know if this just has to do with you made the first movie and it was a hit. And now you got to live up to the expectations of the first one. And maybe it's still closely connected where you can still get a good enough storyline. It doesn't seem super forced. The third one is usually, let's just go cash in.
It's the letdown.
It's and maybe that has something to do with too. It's like you had a couple good ones, so now the third one's just not going to be as good. It has something to do with that. I think this is fact. I think there's something to that.
Trev?
I'm going to go cap. I think that there are good sequels, but the original is always the best one, right? It's where they introduce you to the universe, where they introduce you to that world, right? The first time that Godfather 2 is arguably a better movie than the first Godfather, but you got introduced to the
setup was
Corleones
already there
in the first one, right? So I get you can push the story forward a little bit more. World building for sure, but the introduction, I'm really glad you mentioned Indiana Jones, because there's another one coming out before too long. When that movie first came out, that was a brand new thing. You didn't know any of the characters, and you're instantly immersed in a world like that, and you're all in. And then it's just kind of revisiting it over and over and over again. The first one's always the best one for me.
Yeah, the second one always tends to be like in a trilogy, less exposition, more world building, less character focus, more plot focus, driving towards the third movie. First one is always kind of like insular and exposition.
What are the chances we can get Funch to see Godfather 3?
Let's go
this week.
I still don't think he saw the first one.
Of course he did, 100%.
Taylor?
Cap, I don't know about the best movies being sequels, but I do know that the worst movies are usually the third in an installment. So, yeah.
Tyler?
I think Home Alone, the Godfather.
Dude, Home Alone
the original is a
stopped.
great movie.
But also Home Alone Lost in New York is also good.
But
Let's just say
the third, though.
The third one
with
sucks.
the different kid, yeah, just downhill.
Never a different kid.
Yeah, what was that about?
Yeah, you can't. It's the main characters.
It's the
main
reason the
character.
movie works.
That's it.
It's a cap for me. Lord of the Rings, although I'm going to give you some alternatives. I think Lord of the Rings is a fantastic example of one that just hit all three. I think some other ones, Toy Story.
Those are great.
I mean, I'm always crying in the Toy Stories.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if it's the second, third, fourth.
The only one of the Toy Stories that didn't work for me was the one with the spork. The other ones were terrific.
That's the most.
That's
a good one too.
Is that the most
You
recent
didn't like
one
the-
too? You liked the spork
Well, that's
Yeah, I
one?
thought
because
it
it
was
was
fun.
supposed to be
It's-
1, 2, 3.
it's
4 is not
forky.
good.
I'm with you.
How do you
Four's
not
not
like
good.
Forky? Come
didn't
on,
like the
man.
No,
Come
thank you.
I was fine
on,
with it.
man.
Get out of here.
Avengers, Star Wars. I mean, there are some movies where it's like, I agree. The first one should have stopped. Third one should have stopped. But there are some where they're just all home runs.
And you can't stop. It's funny. I forget what the interview, what podcast it was on, but Fast and the Furious, they keep going 9, 10, whatever. And I think it was Ludacris that said, somebody had asked him, he's like, I always get this question. Somebody had asked him on the podcast, what's the worst question that you get when it comes to say, hey, why do you guys keep making these movies? And he responds, because we're making effing billions.
Yeah.
That's why. Why are you asking the question? There's no reason to ask it. They keep paying for it. It's like,
A lot.
yeah, you win.
All right, so today is the Worldwide Developers Conference for Apple. All right, so it's when they kind of announce all the big changes that they're going to make to all their Apple products.
Okay.
So one of the things that's going to come out of the next iOS version is that they're going to do this thing called Name Drop, where if you are near somebody, it's kind of similar to AirDrop, but like when you're near someone, you can just tap their phone and give them your contact information. So it's just like, oh, tap. Oh, hey, I'm Emily. I meet someone at a bar, and I say, oh, hey, here's my number.
Here's my social
Ding.
security number.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so
My
that's the
mother's
question.
maiden name.
This is a good idea. Taylor, Factor Cap.
I think fact, yeah, it's a good way to get girls' numbers right there. I mean, just tap their phone.
Taylor's just tapping. They didn't even say yes. He's just tapping.
Tyler?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea only because it's like AirDrop where you have to like give consent, like
Accept them,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
right.
you have to be like, okay, yeah, I'll take your contact info. I don't think it's just going to be like, now you know Rachel so-and-so because she was 3 feet to your right and decided to give you a little bump.
What if like someone went to a bar and just airdropped everybody their contact information so then they can know?
You know,
Isn't
people are
that the
gonna
same
do
as
that.
dating sites where everybody's just swiping right to everybody?
No, yes.
Yeah, but at least this is local, right? Like, at least you can turn around and be like, hey, Sarah, I got your contact info.
Travis?
No, I don't know which way. This is a cap. It's a bad idea. as someone who just had their call from the bank that said, "Hey, did you just charge $200 at this gas station?" Nope. All right, we're gonna have to close down all of your things and start over from scratch. I know that they say, "Oh, there's no financial information," like you're saying now, mother's maiden name, last 4 digits of your social security number, all that stuff. Anytime I can just tap and get my stuff feels very, very risky. I'm gonna skip that one.
I'm going to go fact. I think a lot of times, anytime something new comes out, there's always some hesitation, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen here? Is this, that? I think in a year, 2 years, this won't be a big deal, and it will be a convenient thing to be done. So I'm fact.
Why not just say, "Hey, shoot me your number real quick"? That seems easier than swiping and tapping and stealing. Then you can get the number
wrong. You could do all this other stuff. Like if you're drunk and you're tapping it in.
Email address, maybe everything's in there. I don't know.
Right. That's what I don't want.
They also introduced kind of an augmented reality goggles thing. They look like snowboard
like the
glasses.
Oculus kind of deal?
Yeah, similar, but it's not like total virtual reality. It's just essentially like if you're working here, you could have 3 different screens in front of you and kind of rotate the screens with your fingers in your augmented reality that they have.
No, I don't want that either. I don't want. There's nothing about it.
This is a change.
There's nothing about any of that. I'm good. These work fine. I can see one. I got 4 screens in front of me right now. That's plenty. I don't need 3 more along the way. Bobby Miller might actually be better than we thought. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Time is here. So before you head out on the road this summer, make sure that you head into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Because for over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you. You don't have to get out of the car at Valvoline, and you stay nice and safe right in that front seat, nice and relaxed, while the expert technicians make sure that your car is at its absolute best. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. There are over 80 locations ready to help you get your ride ready in no time. 15 minutes by the time you're in and out, you're on your way, and you know that car is running at its best. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
And this afternoon on 710 Week is underway. 5 days until the second annual Mandy Awards Saturday night at the Commerce Casino. Party, party, oh party. We get you ready all week long. Right now, Travis and Sliwa continues your Monday on 710.
You have a little cooler of Ultras underneath your seat at the Mandy's at our table? Because if you are, I would like to have you set aside a couple for me. Just make sure that you pack for everybody at the table.
I'll go bourbon.
For the table.
Yeah, for the table. There
Start
you go.
off with some bourbon, a little beer on Saturday. By the way, everybody who bought tickets is going to be a part of it. It's going to be a fun event. We're going to have a good time on
Absolutely.
Saturday. Yeah.
Look, if it's half as fun as last year, it'll be awesome. And it won't be half as fun. It'll be more than half as fun.
There's a little preview on Chris Morales' socials, if anybody's curious.
I've been
CMM
watching
Spectrum.
them. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
Cool.
And the narration that comes along with it is very high level.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very high level. I don't want to spoil the surprise in case anybody doesn't know, but it's going to be like, wait, what?
Friday night, do you want to go to Joshua Tree or you want to go after the show?
You go ahead without
Let's
me.
do it. Let's go after the show.
What would you have done had I just kind of pulled into the campsite? Hey, Al, what's going on? Because I was out there.
Can I be honest with you? I'd have cracked open a beer. I'd have got a chair ready for you and say, let's just sit and enjoy.
Share the earbud for the Padre game.
That's right. Well, but just, kind of turn it on the speaker.
They suck.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about this for a second. They kind of do right now.
No, they suck.
The Dodgers just finished up a series against the Yankees, which they lost. The Dodgers have lost 3 of their last 5 series, and in their last 18 games, they're 8-10. They're under 5, which again, it's not terrible, but it's not very good either, right? Especially for a team
They also
that was
had
playing
lost Julio, had lost Dustin May. There's some key players that are out.
The explanation as to why they're losing
Syndergaard has the same ERA as me.
Yeah, it's not hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
The Padres had an opportunity to make up some ground, and they didn't. I think they shaved a half a game. The Dodgers went 10-18. Padres took a half game off of it. That this was going to happen. The Dodgers were going to come back to earth because they were overperforming based on what they had, and that the Padres needed to take advantage when the Dodgers started to kind of backslide a little bit, and they didn't. I still think the Padres make the postseason. I still think that they're a good team, but they really blew an opportunity these last 3 weeks because the Dodgers did not play well and the Padres did even less.
Yeah, there's zero consistency from the team. I think I've told you this. When I watch a Dodger game, it's not perfect baseball, but for 9 innings, the Dodgers have a certain style of play. They're going to fight every single game. Doesn't matter if they're up 5-1 or they're down 5-1.
They are a tough, resilient group.
They are a tough, resilient group. There's just a grit to them that I think is enjoyable. I say this, I'm going to use it as an example. You can watch any sport, and you could tell this team is fighting for one another. They have purpose. They're trying to do everything they can to win, and you could just respect that brand of baseball. It doesn't mean they always come through with runners in scoring position. It doesn't mean that they throw a pitcher out there and he pitches 7 scoreless innings. It doesn't mean that. It just means that they got guys that are willing to fight for 9 innings of baseball. You do not have that with the Padres. So that's a one thing that I look at. And listen, the only reason why it's even a conversation is because the Padres came into this year as supposedly the team that can either dethrone the Dodgers in the NL West or just go toe-to-toe with them, right? Just kind of go back and forth and who's winning the division. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks that are doing it with the Dodgers. It's not the San Diego Padres, and a lot of it really does have to do, in my opinion, there just isn't fight in a team that has an incredibly high payroll but does not have guys that look like they're hungry.
It's hard to have that connection, that fight, that grit, however you want to quantify it, when you haven't played a lot of baseball together and when everybody's expected to be the guy, right? Like Bogarts doesn't come in with, hey, I'm just going to fit in here. It's like, then we just gave you $300 million. You need to play like an MVP. We just gave Manny Machado 300 more minutes.
Everyone got paid. Musgrove got paid. Cronenworth got paid. Everybody got paid.
Not Machado. Soto is still trying to get paid, and he's going to. But it's one of these, I need to perform like an MVP so I can get paid like a 24-year-old MVP. And everybody's trying to be the hero. Everybody's trying to be the guy to kind of get, like, okay, I'll fix it myself. Baseball, the harder you push, the less it works. You've said this before when it comes to sales, when it comes to dating, when it comes to anything. When you get to that point, you know what? Just bleep it. Just bleep it, man. I don't. You don't want to say you don't care, but it's just whatever happens, and I can live with it. Best. And then all of a sudden, the Padres haven't gotten there. They're still pushing like, okay, we got the second they're like, we're probably out of it is when they're going to take off. But they're not. They're still right there. The Dodgers are going the wrong direction. The Diamondbacks, I guess at some point you got to take them seriously. I still kind of don't, because the Dodgers did the thing that should scare the crap out of everybody else. They went down and got the guy after the guy after the guy to come and be their next best pitcher. Bobby Miller has now pitched in the big leagues 3 times. Each one was a little better than the one before. Each one was a little bit more. This isn't fluky. And sorry, this is going to hurt you a little bit here, Tyler. When James Outman got off to that start, and I was holding interviews and auditions for my new favorite player, what did I say? I'm like, just give me a second. Let's see what happens.
Well, I'd asked, I said, at what point do you say, hey, this guy's real deal? And you said, no, you got to wait. You got to give him the whole year and start making determinations after that.
Next season. Because, look, James Outman's a really nice player, and I'm glad he's on the Dodgers.
Why doesn't he swing?
But you knew this was coming. You knew the market correction was coming because he's not Mike Trout. He's not Juan Soto. He's one of these guys that's going to be a nice major league player, but he's not one of those guys. Bobby Miller is. Bobby Miller has gotten better each time, and there's nothing about him that's like, oh, okay, he got a little lucky right there. He's just going through guys. He's got major league quality pitches, his fastball, the slider, which he wiped the Yankees out with yesterday. He's like, yeah, that's one I'm just starting to develop right now. His changeup is a plus big league pitch. He's just dominating really good major league teams, and he's just getting started. It reminds me so much of Walker Buehler when he came up. Just this, I'm here to mess you up. I'm not going to be arrogant about it. I'm not going to be super loud about it. But there's no question when he's on that mound, he is there to mess you up, and he does.
There's something about having – we'll stay with a pitcher in baseball. A lot of times guys either – let's say they have the stuff, but do they know what to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Is the moment too big for them? Are they put in situations where they don't know what to do with the everything that they have in their tool belt? Do they know how to properly use it?
Yep.
And then there's other guys that have they're so strong mentally, and mentally is kind of how they got to this far, but they just don't have the tools the way somebody else does.
Yeah.
And it's still so early, so we got to give the man a lot of time, but reading the LA Times yesterday, and it says, franchise second pitcher since 1901. This is Bobby Miller. To begin his MLB career with 3 starts of at least 5 innings and no more than 1 run given up, according to MLB.com. It doesn't feel like Bobby Miller has just the tools.
No, it's both.
It feels like he also has I don't care that it's the New York Yankees on the other side. I don't care that it's the Atlanta Braves on the other side. I don't care who the other team is. I don't care who the players are, the pitcher, or who I'm pitching against. He's not only has the stuff. Now, that doesn't mean – think about where he could be in 2-3 years from now as he continues to develop, just get more experience, be put in certain situations he hasn't been put into yet. But, damn, that's
he just needs to stay healthy. He
that's
just needs
incredible.
To stay healthy and
what an
pitch
incredible
more.
Start.
You said something that I think is interesting. Dustin May has the stuff, right? That when you watch him pitch, you're like, I don't know how anybody ever gets a hit off this guy. Guys get hits off him. He walks guys. There's the stuff that he doesn't quite understand how to harness what it is that he was doing. And the goal was always, hey, just keep throwing him out there. He's going to let him start to develop into this guy. But his stuff was so good, he was able to get a lot of guys out, and it pitched well. But you're telling yourself, wait till he harnesses what it is that he has. Miller has stuff, maybe not quite like that, but very, very close to that. And he already seems to kind of know what he's doing, which is that Clayton Kershaw knows what he's doing, and his stuff is kind of just starting to dip a little bit as he gets a little older.
But how long is it? It takes time to have that.
Absolutely. And that he's there already, it's incredibly exciting. The problem is he's probably their second best pitcher right now. They're going to come back to the pack. They got some problems. We can talk about that. Plus, we got more LeBron.
What was Gratterall doing?
Stop. Now you're just trolling me.
I'm not trolling you. He threw the ball to right field.
I'm going to need you to be more specific because he's done it the last 2 times he's pitched. So there. Is that enough?
That helps, yep.
Dude, you're not a shortstop. Maybe set your feet and make a throw. See, now you've put me in a bad mood.
He's like,
I was having such a good day.
It's Brett Favre back in the day getting just lobbing the ball up.
Dude, you're a pitcher. Oh, he's the best athlete on the team. Guess what? I don't give a damn. pick up the ball and throw it to first base, and if there's not an option, put it in your back pocket and throw to the next hitter.
Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to do that.
So excited about Bobby Miller, and then you bring up Gratterall. Sliwa being a bad guy. Anthony Davis extension this summer. Does the Kyrie LeBron have anything to do with that? That's coming up. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
DCAM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
Here we go. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa is on for your Monday. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. And yes, indeed, hopefully you had a beautiful weekend. Dodgers, Yankees, we'll recap that. Plus, Nuggets, Heat, Game 2 last night. What a game. What a battle. And Slee was back from his let me throw water at John Ireland and then take 2 days off vacation. Well done, Slee. We'll find out if he tells us. Did the Sierra Subaru of Monrovia make it out? Was Rookie the dog part of the activities? We'll find all that out. Plus, I got to tell you, I'm a little sad on this Monday, not because of the gloomy weather. Yes, rainy days and Mondays. Anyway, a lot of the communication and texting over the weekend that I would usually do with producer Emily about Succession is now gone. We have to find a new show to watch, Em. Plus, producer Taylor's back from a few days off. Let's get to it as we begin Mandy's Week. Let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, your Monday right now.
Yeah, Emily couldn't text because she was trying not to break her leg on her Santa Barbara vacation, which she
and failing at that
moderately succeeded at. She's got a pretty bad ankle. You are back in one piece. Ireland is not here today, so you guys will still not be in the same room since you even the score with him.
Yeah, it's really. I really wish I just didn't time it right.
You just missed.
The water just kind of took a little turn on me.
Give you a B+.
Yeah.
Because you caught everybody by surprise. You just
I go C+.
You missed the zone.
Yeah.
you threw a ball. You picked the right pitch at the right time. You didn't see it coming.
But you're an ump. You're an ump right now that the catcher framed it just properly. You gave him the inside corner.
You got enough of it.
Yeah, you got enough.
And you surprised the umpire with the pitch too.
Yeah.
Like what? Strike 3.
It was Freddie Freeman yesterday.
So did you have like a big
ball.
grin on your face, or were you stone face killer?
Really no grin. Just kind of like this was just business right now.
Got no satisfaction.
You would have a better. You would have a better view of it.
They asked the time. I had no idea you were going to do it,
mm-hmm.
but I knew something was slightly off with you.
That's funny you say that.
Yeah, because that Ask Slee shirt was on the table, and I don't know why I know it, but I knew that wasn't there at the start of the show, and it was.
Maybe he was bringing it home for a lady Slee or something.
But it was very out of character for him. That's not what he does. And then in the middle of crosstalk, and I'm kind of looking like this, and when Steve and John are talking, I will sometimes kind of look to you like, I'm expecting you to say something. And you really weren't saying much. And a couple of times when I looked over, you were looking under the table, like you were trying to find something. I'm like, I don't know if you were getting ready for vacation.
Yeah, I was going to say, there is, when you're about to leave for a couple of days, and especially if I'm going to Joshua Tree like I was going, there's a lot to coordinate. You got this going, all that. So I was about 84% mentally there during crosstalk. That might be a little high.
I think you're giving yourself too much credit.
I was probably 16% mentally there, 84% gone.
Fair.
Right?
I'll sign up with that one.
So there was a little bit of that as well. And then it was, what time? I wanted to do it at least at 10 or beyond, so 1:10. Like, I didn't want to do it at 1:04, and then I just got to sit there. And like,
should have done it at 12:55. Give us a little something, right? But you did a good job. It was good. I would have liked a full, like, right between the eyes,
I know.
But it was pretty good.
Also, speaking of my fall, I really need to see the LeBron James of foot doctors.
Yeah,
I think that'd be really helpful.
don't know. Look,
do you think I can afford it?
I was going to say the LeBron James of feet probably does not come cheaply.
Not in my Cigna insurance.
Yeah, and we still don't know who the LeBron James of feet is. We just know that he's the LeBron James of feet according to LeBron. That's what we know.
It's just LeBron. That's it.
Me and LeBron going to foot surgery at the same time. Oh, hey, funny seeing you here.
You get rolled in there because they just assembly line that stuff, right? The day that they're doing feet, it's like that guy's got 9 surgeries and you're one of the 9.
LeBron's just waiting in the waiting room as well, sitting there. So when are you going? What do you do for a living?
Play a little basketball. How about you? Went to Santa
fell
Barbara.
off a curb.
Only had 2 drinks.
Just fell off a curb.
Yeah, it happens.
Same thing.
You're all right. You're getting around without your crutches. That's
I
pretty good.
think it's going to be better than I think it's going to be, but we'll see. Again, we'll have an X-ray later.
I thought she was going to be glued to that chair and limping around the whole day.
She's
been fine.
Isn't it a good sign if initially, I know you said the colors were all over the place, the
great.
purple, all that, but isn't it a good sign when it swells up? Doesn't that mean it's not broken, or you probably most likely don't have a fracture? I think that's what they used to tell me when I turned my ankle every other month playing basketball.
Don't worry, this is good.
So I think you might be okay.
2
Hopefully.
drinks. I only had 2 drinks.
My doctor yesterday did not look super oh, wow, looks really good. She was like, oh, you need an X-ray right now.
Should have not. Got to throw those shoes away, I'm trying to help you here. I'm trying to help you. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Jeff in Malibu. Jeff, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, how are you guys?
All right.
Good. You guys were talking about alternate universes. I'm currently calling from an alternate universe where I'm the GM of the Lakers, and I've just traded LeBron to Dallas.
Why?
Because I think it's hard to come up with a deal. You can't do a straight-up deal with them, but you can do a 3-team deal. And I'll give you just the specifics. I'm not going to go into details, but this was approved on the NBA trade machine.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. You don't make salaries match. But, so Dallas gets LeBron. Toronto gets the Dallas number 10 pick in the draft this year. They get a Lakers number 17 pick in the draft this year, plus future first-round picks. And they get $30 million additional cap space. And the Lakers get OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam and filler.
Look, there are ways you can make it work. Thanks for the call, Jeff.
You could have traded Russ for Giannis last year.
Yeah,
trade tracker.
You got to. I like potential trades. I like the trade speculation. And this is all coming from what Shams reported earlier, where he said that Kyrie Irving reached out to Lakers star LeBron James in attempts to see if James would come to Dallas. Irving is a free agent this offseason. So this is why we're talking about all this. But go to the most bare bones of this. Anytime you hear a trade proposition, look at it from both sides. Would Dallas like to have LeBron James? Sure. I'm sure they would. But what do the Mavericks have that the Lakers would want that would reasonably come back? The only thing in the Maverick universe that would intrigue the Lakers is Luka. You can't imagine that Luka is a part of any of this. Why would they ever want to do something like that? So it's a non-starter from the jump. This is not if this LeBron, I'm sure, has thought about playing somewhere other than the Lakers at some point beyond this year or the year after that. He wants to play for a long time. But Dallas with Kyrie and Luka, there's nothing coming back the other way. Why would the Lakers ever want to do that? The other one makes far more sense. Bringing him here and sending some of the things you have the other way. That makes more sense for both sides than LeBron going to Dallas.
And on top of that, Kyrie is a free agent. So Kyrie can help dictate a lot of this as well. Now the question is going to be, is he willing to take less money to come be a Los Angeles Laker? Is he willing to sign a short-term deal to be a Los Angeles Laker? I would tell you no. I don't think he is. I think he's going to go try to get the bag and go get paid in Dallas.
You think somebody will do? Dallas will offer him the
Dallas,
max, right?
I think, is going to offer him the money.
Yeah.
I think they will. At least a 3-year, I think minimum of 3 years is what he'll get in Dallas. So, listen, he can do what he's done in the past. Take the money and then figure out what happens from there. If it doesn't work in Dallas, he could end up somewhere else. I'm not telling you that's the right game plan.
No, you're
but
right.
If you want to get the money, that's how you're going to get paid. Lakers aren't going to offer Kyrie a 4-year deal. And first off, why would you offer him a 4-year deal when Bron's got basically 1 year left on his contract? I think the other side of this that's most intriguing, if you're LeBron James, if LeBron tomorrow said, guys, I want to get traded. I don't want to be a Los Angeles Laker anymore. And let's just say hypothetically. Let's play that out.
Yep.
Let's say Bron said that. All right, Bron's going to want to go somewhere where he has a chance to go win an NBA championship. Bron's going to want to go somewhere that the returning pieces that go back to the Los Angeles Lakers are not going to dismantle the team that he ends up. So they're giving up more what their future is.
Yeah, future
rather
assets.
than real players right now. But LeBron is also coming with this Lakers team that I think he's got to also look at and say, all right, we made it to the Western Conference Finals, but let's say this team is not perfect. Let's say that I am going to be a year older and there's some concerns there. Anthony Davis, I think, solidified this year. If it wasn't solidified before, he really did it this year. Played 56 games for the Lakers, played 16 postseason games. After he got injured against the Denver Nuggets and missed 5 weeks, he was pretty much there the entire time, just those back-to-backs he missed. What he solidified is, I'm one of the best defensive players in the NBA, and you need someone like me to win an NBA championship. At the same time, I'm also not going to give you 35, 30, 32, 29 a night. I'm very up and down on offense, but you still need him to win an NBA championship. Wouldn't Bron think that what the pieces that they have currently together now, the ability for Rob Pelinka to maneuver in the offseason and go tweak some things here and there, doesn't he have a much better chance of being competitive with the Lakers than he does in most other places that he would be at?
Yes, and I think that's why the Dallas thing is easily just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like you can move on from it very quickly because of the reason you said. If this were, and again, I'm just throwing this out there, if this were the Golden State Warriors saying, hey, come on over here. Come on, we'll give them picks that we're going to take one more shot at this.
We're going to give them the young pieces, the Jordan Poole,
Kaminga,
the this,
Poole,
and some young
and
pieces.
Wiggins. They're going to go, but you come in, you play with Draymond, Steph, and Clay.
It's a different story.
That's one of those, okay, that, and again, you got to figure out the money and all that stuff works, but that's one of those, maybe that's an intriguing.
You're still close enough to your family. You could come down anytime. It
makes sense for the Warriors, kind of makes sense for the Lakers, kind of like you, that's one, the Dallas thing is just kind of I don't see the upside for LeBron in this situation. Even if he wanted out, even if he said, I don't want to be here anymore, I don't think you're as close as you think you are, I want to go and take one last really good rip at this somewhere else, I don't think Dallas is the place that he's going because Dallas with Kyrie, Luka, and LeBron, that's a great three-headed monster, but what else would be on the team at that point? Nothing.
This could very easily be similar to what we talked about after the Lakers lost to the Denver Nuggets. And in those final quotes, it's Bron saying, I'm going to need a second to think about everything, right? He wasn't guaranteeing that he was going to come back, but I think you and I both sat here and saying, Bron's coming back. This makes me feel the same way that we could be looking here and Kyrie's trying to get LeBron go to the Dallas Mavericks. You and I are still looking at each other and saying, yeah, LeBron's going to be back as a Los Angeles Laker.
Does he finish his career here? We'll talk about that next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
Sliwa, your Monday Mandy's week is underway. 5 days until the second annual Mandy Awards Saturday night at the Commerce Casino. Party, party, oh party. We get you ready all week long. Right now, Travis and Sliwa continues your Monday on 710.
So we were talking about multiverses and all that kind of stuff during Factor Cap. And what's today, Emily? The trade, what is it? For
the
Apple?
Worldwide Developers Conference.
Worldwide Developers Conference.
For Apple.
For Apple. And Tyler just sent me some of those simulations of those multi-screen things. I'd like to change my answer.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
It's with Disney. It's with ESPN and Disney together, or gave like concept art of what this could look like.
And so think of Red Zone, only instead of on your TV, you got 4 or 5 games going on. You have 4 or 5 TVs spread out in your house that aren't there. You're looking at 4 or 5 screens that are like full size. You just boom, 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 only it's all done AI.
Or like
I got another migraine.
So you know how they do kind of those like really immersive broadcasts on ESPN for like the college football national championship? Yeah. So it's something like that where like you can have stats here, you can have like graphics here, and have everything all together and like in your living room at the same time.
Why do I feel super stressed watching a game, smoking a cigarette, and just like I can't?
You're like Ace Rothstein in Casino at the end when he's got that wall of TVs and he's just burning cigarettes down and just.
You got to go screen and roll here. Look at the turnovers.
At the end of the day, I could always pick winners.
But you know, guys, it's something like though 4D experiences in theaters that just like don't always play. You know, something's gonna be too much or too overstimulating. Like the 4D experience, it's like, oh, you'll get wet if like
it still
Little Mermaid comes
feels fake. You know what I mean? Like when you get even like a really well done 3D movie. When you're watching it, you're fully aware that you're watching something in 3D. You don't lose yourself in it. At least I don't. That when you're watching, you're always like, oh, this is really cool technology that they're able to kind of put that thing like in the middle of the room. But you're always fully aware it's not there. You're an Oculus guy. Did you ever get lost in that world, or were you always like, I'm wearing the headset?
Here's what happened. I think I have not used that thing in. When's the last time we talked about that? Over a year ago?
A year ago,
okay.
Yeah.
So I had a small little moment where I'm like, hey, this thing is awesome. And it went away very quick. And it was like the idea and the concept of it was pretty cool. You throw this thing on and you pick where you want to be. I want to be in space. Okay, you're in space. And you see some stuff flying around this. I want to be on an island and you hear the ocean coming in and stuff like that. It's pretty cool, right? You could, if somebody else has it, I could have a buddy of mine be in the same room that I'm in, and it's an avatar, right? So he's got his profile, I got my profile, and we're in the same room, and we're talking to each other, and it's like, that
would have been useful during the pandemic where you couldn't spend time with anybody.
Concept cool.
Yeah.
Really goes away after like, like
here's the difference.
30 days you do it. I'm like, I'm not going to do it.
This concept that Apple's implementing is it's the space that you're in, and you can see the space that you're in. It's not you're putting on these goggles and reality's disappearing. It's you are within the space.
Like a projection.
Think more like Tony Stark and Iron Man when he's doing the thing and he's moving things around with his fingers, and it's all digital. That's essentially what they're trying to create. $3,500, by the way, starting.
Ooh,
yes.
I'm out.
But also, it'll probably go down if it's something that like everybody starts to get. You know, it's like an iPhone. You know, it started off super duper duper expensive, and then eventually meets the market.
Slee, you might remember this. Emily, you're probably too young for this. The first time I saw high definition television, wait. What is that? Well, it looked like
going
you were
to like
looking
a Best Buy or
every freckle.
Yeah.
Every freckle, and I'll never forget it. It was every blade of grass and grain of dirt on a baseball
That's
diamond.
right.
I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Remember when Nat Geo was putting out there?
Yes, and the scales on the fish. You're like, this is incredible. And then you look at the
Planet Earth. That's what it was. Planet Earth.
$10,000. You're like, okay, I can't. I'm out. A year later, they were disposable. Right, you could go to Costco and buy a TV, and it was that's $400. Yeah, and what happens to price? Just get a new one. It happens that quick. So I'm out at $3,500, but when it comes in at $350,
then we're in
a year from
now. By the way, it's not you can't. How do you scale that $3,500? You only can get so many. The consumers that you can have to actually buy that is so limited. Once they are able to say, okay, now we can make this and mass produce it, that's different.
Or when it gets to be like where it's like my normal glasses, so like I could theoretically be
Yes.
here at work and I have all these screens here, like what I have on these TVs, instead I could have just in my on my glasses, where it's less bulky, where you don't look like you're just walking around with like
A headset on.
snowboard goggles on.
So what you said too, like those alternate broadcasts where you have a national championship game and all these things, and they're super stat or coach heavy in there. What they're doing is they're running an XY banana, spider monkey. It's like, okay, stop. You're overwhelming me. I can't watch those. I want Mike Breen yelling bang in the NBA Finals.
I'm with you.
I don't need actually, this is a high pick and roll with a pin down. Like, stop. I just want to hear bang, and I want to hear Jeff Van Gundy hate
Or a
things.
player mic'd up.
Yeah.
Just simple things like that.
Easy. I don't need the deep dive.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
I was told there would be
too
no
much.
math. I don't need any of the math. All right. AD eligible to sign a 3-year, $167.5 million max extension. He's eligible to sign that at the beginning of August 4th. You wonder.
Okay.
And I'm just connecting dots here. The LeBron future, the Kyrie rumors, the Anthony Davis extension, they all have to be connected to a certain degree. By how much, I guess, is debatable. But if LeBron really is thinking, hey, listen, I need to go somewhere else to play with my son, whatever the answer might be, and Anthony Davis is coming up, and do you try to connect the two of them on term? Because if I'm Anthony Davis, I want all of it. I don't want to take a 2-year deal because LeBron's on a 2-year deal. How much of Anthony Davis's future is connected to LeBron James' future? Or are they completely separate from one another?
So I'm going to go back to something I said a little bit earlier. I think there was a long time that I thought the window for both of these guys were connected.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a time, too, where Anthony Davis just couldn't stay on the floor, and you really kind of started questioning, is this a player that you can depend on, rely on? By the way, that's still always going to be in question. That's just he's more of an injury-prone player, and that is what it is.
It's the reality of it.
But I think Anthony Davis, I think now I'm ready to – you could separate the two. Let's say LeBron James decides in 1 year that he's done with the Los Angeles Lakers and he goes and joins Bronny on a team in the NBA, hypothetically, right? Let's say he went and did that. Anthony Davis is this for you. He's about 25 points a game, about 10 to 12 rebounds a game, about 2 to 3 blocks a game. He's going to shoot over 50% from the field, and he's arguably one of the best defenders in the NBA. Do you have to associate – I think if you're saying to yourself, if Anthony Davis is the best player on your team and here's the baton, you just got it handed to you, I don't like that scenario at all. But if you're telling me Anthony Davis is – one of the LeBron James tenure with the Lakers ends and Anthony Davis is still here, I'm okay with that. You just got to make sure that you put the right guys around Anthony Davis and understand AD has a ceiling of what he is. And that ceiling, I think a lot of teams wish they had a player like Anthony Davis. And now you got to find players that complement what AD brings to the table, and AD is able to maybe you can bring somebody that's so great on offense because AD can clean up whatever it is on the defensive side. I think you just have to understand that that's what he brings to the table. I'm much more comfortable, I think, today talking about Anthony Davis and an extension with the Lakers than I probably would have been a year ago.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's so funny how much this stuff changes, right? Because, look, the idea was for Anthony Davis to develop into the best player on a championship team. That LeBron and he would basically flip roles. That LeBron, when they won in the bubble in 2020, was the best player on the team, but it was really close. Anthony Davis was a very close second. And then over the course of the next year or two, you want to see those roles reversed, where Anthony Davis is doing all of those things and LeBron is supporting him at a very, very high level. It's not exactly what happened. But because AD finished the season relatively healthy and became consistently inconsistent to the point where I would much rather deal with, hey, he's got 30 one night and 17 another, and he's got 26 here, he's got 12 here, but I know what I'm getting on the other end of the floor. I just got to find the other guy to put with him now. And as LeBron gets older, he's probably not that guy. He can have moments, but he can't be the guy night in and night out. You almost have to figure out the top of this. As LeBron leaves, it's not that you need Anthony Davis to ascend to the top. You need to find a different top. Anthony Davis is the best possible version of the second best player on your team. He is the perfect second best player on a team. If he needs to be your best guy, you're probably going to come in a little short. It's probably not enough. if he's my second best guy, get the hell out of my way, as long as my first guy's good enough. And there aren't a lot of those guys. The challenge is, who are those guys? It's Doncic, it's Giannis, it's probably Luka.
Embiid,
it's
yeah.
Embiid. There's a handful of them, and it's very hard to get them into your team. But yeah, I think you do kind of shoot for that. It's like, look, lock him up, have him be here. And I've done a 180 on it. I was like, listen, this guy never plays.
Which was fair.
Got it
Which
together.
was fair.
And to the point of, he didn't get it together to the tune of Jokic, where he's 35, 17, and 14 a night. But he's pretty damn good. And as long as he's playing, he's got to be the center of your team going forward. And not like the position center, the epicenter of your team until you find the next best guy.
So this is what I think. We don't help our conversation when we try to label Anthony Davis in a group. There's only one Giannis, okay? There's only one Embiid. There's only one Jokic. And those are your three best bigs in the NBA. Forget center, power forward, doesn't matter. Those are your three best bigs in the NBA. AD is in that second tier.
Mm-hmm.
And that second tier that Anthony Davis is in is still an unbelievable player as a big man who, by the way, can help you win an NBA championship and dominates one side of the floor.
And those three guys you mentioned out, they're all the best player on their team.
Mm-hmm.
He's not.
And they're all MVP winners.
Yes.
And they're all, have represented the league that way. But that's the part of it that I think, let's use this upcoming season, we were talking about it, that even with LeBron James, even with Anthony Davis, and even with some pretty good role players, you got swept in the Western Conference Finals, which means that they still need more talent to make it happen. But I look at Anthony Davis, I've accepted him for who he is. And the player that he is, if I'm thinking in my head that Anthony Davis is going to be Giannis or Joker or Joel Embiid, I'm going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
But if I think of Anthony Davis as, this is who he is, he's about 25 a night, probably right 24, 23 a night, something like that. He's going to grab me 12 rebounds. He's going to be unbelievable on the defensive side. He's going to have nights where you say he's the best player on the floor, and he's going to have other nights where you say, I forgot he was on the floor.
Yeah, and once you come to grips with that, it's much easier to deal with him. Like, I'm talking as a fan, right? As an executive, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I'm just saying, maybe shortly after Christmas, when it's like, you know what, I'm just going to, whatever we get with Anthony Davis, I'm just going to take it and enjoy it. And when it's not there, all right, that just is going to be the way that it is. It's a far more enjoyable ride as a Laker fan. And when you get it, like, that was great. Maybe he can do it again. Maybe not. But when you say, all right, he's going to do that again, you're going to be left wanting over and over and over again. That's why you got to find that your next best player, maybe we might not even know the guy's name right now, Al. It may be a name that we know really well. Maybe Luka gets to the point where he says, I don't want to be here anymore. This doesn't work for me. You guys don't know how to put it around. I
trust that franchise.
And that's where the Lakers have an advantage over everybody. Like, hey, we'll take you. We know how to deal with stars. We know how to get you what you need. And that may be their play. Like, just wait until one of those guys says, I don't like it here anymore. I got to go somewhere else. And whether it's a LeBron situation, a Shaq situation, whatever it is, like, okay, when that guy comes up, we're ready to jump on it.
And they'll be in position financially to do it as well, right? Let's see what happens over the next year or so. But the AD and extension part of it, I'm in on that.
What team is Kyrie Irving on next year?
The Wizards.
That would be terrific.
The Wizards. He's on the Mavs.
Right. And Lakers. Or, excuse me, and LeBron.
He's on the Lakers.
Right. This is talk.
Yep.
This is chatter. It's interesting chatter.
It is.
But it's also not likely to happen. Look, if it does, God only knows what the Lakers get coming back the other way. But it's and LeBron would have to want it to happen. We haven't even talked about that component.
The connections Kyrie has to the Lakers make sense. The connections that LeBron would have to Dallas does not make sense.
Aaron Judge broke Dodger Stadium over the weekend. That's next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. You heard my guy, Mike Capozio, right here on this show on Friday afternoon. And, of course, he's the one running the show out at Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, right there in Fontana. Go in and see for yourself the sea of Silverados. If you're looking for a new Silverado crew cab right now, there's no better place to be than Rotolo. You're going to have the selection. You're going to have the pricing. But the one thing that Rotolo has that no one else has, 13 years in a row, Dealer of the Year, which means the customer service experience is off the charts. And it starts at the top with Mike and Eddie and Michael and Armando and all the guys that I've met out there. I bought a car from Rotolo, and it is all true. This is how you win Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row, by treating people the right way, the way they deserve to be treated. And that's what they do at Rotolo. Everything's up front. Everything is transparent and courteous, and you can do it all online as well at RotoloChevy.com. That's ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com, and tell them that Travis sent you.
And this afternoon, it is the show that begins 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
You got to get that Gladiators 30 for 30 under your belt.
I got to make that happen. You're right.
It's pretty gnarly. The part one, which is 90 minutes long, kind of goes through all the games and the guys. It's a nice little throwback to the 90s and early 2000s when that was the most popular show on TV. It's pretty great.
How much did you walk away like, wow, I learned a lot from this thing?
Most of it.
Okay, I like that.
Most of it. It was, I remember the games. I remember some of the guys. There's the whole backstory to how this thing came together that's fascinating. Very excited to find out what you think of Johnny Ferraro. Johnny Ferraro is one of the creators of the series and former Elvis impersonator.
Okay, I got to see it.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, so you already saw it. I'll find a way to watch it. I'll watch it this week.
I'm curious. And then the second part is heavy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, it's heavy. Like, the first part's kind of fun. Like, oh, I remember that. Oh, my gosh, that guy got smoked.
And then the second part is real.
Oh, my gosh, this is really sad. Yeah, a lot going on.
Okay.
A lot going on. Set aside 3 hours. You'll be good to go. 3.5, actually. Hour and a half plus 2.
The chances Funches watches no, anything long, I just throw Funches
okay. I'll be honest. Funches kind of let me down.
What happened?
Because I forget Funches overheard us talking about American Gladiators, and I said to him, he said to me, "Oh my, I can't wait to see it." So I said, "It's on tonight and tomorrow. I know you're coming in Friday. Make sure you're ready." I didn't see it. All right then.
He had stuff to do. Come on,
all right
Trav.
then. It was the good, not Goodfellas, the Godfather all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, aren't you ready to? No, I didn't see it. I'm like, Funches, come on, man.
That's why I love the guy. That's why I love him. That's awesome.
Aaron Judge should have to pay to get that gate fixed in right field for the Dodgers.
Let me
see. There he is, right there.
Yeah, he's already.
You should try to come
himself.
in and defend yourself.
He's
come in here and turn
his
on
honor.
the mic. Yeah. I didn't do
right
it.
Here,
under,
Funch, right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you were so excited when I told you it was going to be on, and then when you came in, you hadn't seen it.
I'm sorry, man. I started watching this show on Apple Plus with Seth Rogen's and Rose Byrne. They were about friends or whatever. I don't know. I started binge watching that, and I'm sorry I didn't watch it.
Platonic. Emily, how's Platonic?
Funches can't hear me, but yeah, it's. I haven't watched it. I just know it exists.
Oh, okay.
She
I thought
said
it's the one show she has not.
She has
seen
not
it.
seen it.
Sorry.
So I'm with you on this. If you start binge watching something and it ropes you in, it's really tough to say, I'm going to stop watching this and go to a completely different show.
Also, I started binge watching the new Arnold Schwarzenegger series on Netflix.
Rev? What's it?
Fubar. Which is pretty. It's really funny. Really funny. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 90s, like really funny.
All right, I got to watch a Gladiator.
Yeah.
Are you going to watch it, or is this going to be another Godfather situation for you?
I'll watch it. I'll watch it because I read about what goes on in American Gladiators before the 30 for 30 came out, like what all the crazy stuff that you probably saw.
Well,
in
he said
2.
it's heavy.
The second part
heavy.
is super heavy.
Like
super heavy.
all this the extracurricular stuff,
and a lot of guys it didn't go well. Just put it that. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but some of these guys had a really hard run after Gladiators ended.
Will you watch Godfather 3 tonight after Lakers talk?
No, man.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
No.
Just wanted to get that.
But maybe American Gladiators.
Text me when you see it, and we can go back and forth.
I will. Definitely.
Thank you, Fudge. Still kind of bummed out that he left me hanging.
Love how excited you were thinking he was.
I thought I found a partner in crime
no.
because I know you are aware of it, but you didn't really watch it like that, right? That wasn't something that you were spending your Saturday afternoons watching.
Actually, you'd be surprised.
Okay.
I got my fair share in.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was an exciting show.
You watch it tonight and don't leave me hanging like Funches so we can do it tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. I got it. Okay. I'm going to try. I don't think I can watch it tonight, but I can watch it tomorrow night. We top out Wednesday.
All right. Let me know when you get to it, and then we'll cut Funches loose, and he can go back to Seth Rogen on Apple TV. You did not watch that? You're not interested?
So I'm not really an Apple TV show person because I feel like it's a lot of big stars and not a lot of good plots. So not really my bag tending, but Tyler, you watched it. You like it?
So this Seth Rogen show, it reminds me of a spinoff. The two were paired together in Neighbors.
Right.
Yeah.
This show just doesn't cut it for me. However, to tangent, because we're talking about Apple TV, Shrinking with Jason Segel.
That's Harrison Ford too, right?
Harrison Ford, entirely worth your time.
Okay.
Very good.
I'll never see it, but it sounds good.
Let me know when you watched it, and then we'll talk about it.
But see, unlike Funches, I'm not going to tell you, Tyler, that sounds great. I can't wait to talk about it. I know for a fact I will never see it.
I appreciate the honesty.
I have recommended
Funches
a lot of
wanted
things.
to get you excited, and then he's like, all right.
And it's not that I'm trying to leave him hanging. I don't have an Apple TV. That's probably not even true. We probably do. I just don't even think we've ever signed on to it.
But I have to tell Tyler, I've recommended many things to Travis, and I think he has watched one of them.
What was that?
Veep. You've watched Veep.
Oh, I did.
Yes.
By the way,
Again,
liked it.
Yeah.
My hit rate is pretty good. I think
was
that
terrific.
you would like all the things I recommend. You just don't watch them.
I don't watch a ton of TV, but when she's one for one, the one that I did
When the
see,
Dodger channel is not working, he watches a lot more
I confess
TV.
to Jaime that I watch the Fernando documentary as much as I do. I said I feel like I know you because not only have you been on the radio forever and ever, and I'm a Dodger fan, but I've seen you with Fernando probably 3 times a week for the last couple of years.
He's like, I didn't even know.
like,
He
"That's
probably
weird,
doesn't even
man."
know it aired.
Just wanted to let you know that if it's on, I'm going to watch it again. Such a great day. Enjoyed it a great deal. Aaron Judge, did you see him? I'm sure you did. Smash into the outfield.
Yeah.
You know that wasn't even the part where they come out, right? That he just kind of broke the hinge on a part that wasn't supposed to open.
Yeah, it's not so confusing. And by the way, that's as close to, some of those guys, they catch a ball and they have a second to kind of churn around.
Yep.
It's like, bam, then they hit the wall. That's as bang as you can get. And that wall looked like it's done.
The wall got demolished.
It's over.
He's one of those guys. Okay, I'm not a Yankee fan. I wanted the Dodgers to sweep that series. He's a hard guy to root against. He's hitting bombs. He's crashing into walls. He's robbing home runs. He's a very hard guy for me to root against. And when you see how much money did he sign for this offseason? $1 trillion, something like that.
Yeah.
And he's going out there running through the right field gate. If I'm a Yankee fan, I'm like, dude, stop doing that. Can we just play that on a hop and get ready to play the next day? Didn't play yesterday. They're off today. Mm-hmm. That's one of those, your best player, and he's their best player by a mile. Maybe we don't sacrifice ourselves on the gate in June.
Something cool about, and listen, we'll see what happens come postseason, but there's something about those two franchises playing this weekend and just seeing the LA and the NY.
Yeah.
And it's these two powerful brands. And it's Fox grabbing the game on Saturday, and it's ESPN taking the game on Sunday, and they're both nationally televised. And I know this is just going to be part of how Major League Baseball is.
I like that, by the way.
The fact that you can play every team every single year now, and the Yankees get a chance to come out to L.A. for that 3-game set, and next year the Dodgers are going to go out to New York for their 3-game set or whatever it is. Does it just not seem right that I don't know? That's just what stood out. It was so powerful to see the two brands and Fox and ESPN both waiting. Hey, can we have the Saturday and can we have the Sunday? I thought that was great.
We were talking with Jaime and Oral about that. The Dodgers and Yankees haven't played a meaningful game against each other in 40 years. But it's still, to your point, it still felt like a huge deal because of
certain logos that just look right.
Absolutely. When the Dodgers go there next year, when the Red Sox come into town, and vice versa, when the Cubs go into Yankee Stadium and Fenway Park, there's just a handful of those matchups that feel cool, for lack of a better word.
It's obviously can't happen in the NFL because you only have so many games. But for Major League Baseball to have 162 games and then not to be able to figure that out until now, I mean, come on.
19 against the Diamondbacks or 13 against the Diamondbacks, and you get to play the Red Sox and the Yankees every year? Yeah, let's do that.
I just think
that doesn't seem complicated.
What about those 6 games against the Diamondbacks? You know,
well, they might need them this year.
Right.
They may need to win some of those.
I always love, getting a chance, and you got a chance to do this as well, doing the Laker broadcast. And it's the only time they're going to come to Chicago. And it's the only time that you'll get to see the Lakers and LeBron in New York. Just using these examples. It happens every year, but it's only once a year. Those are meaningful games. I'm sure there's probably a freaking ton of Yankee fans that are here, or whatever the case is, and they're at Dodger Stadium. It just felt right to see all that this weekend.
The Dodgers this week, not this week, this season, coming into the season, it was, hey, do they have enough starting pitching? And it was, and I remember having the conversation with you saying, yeah, they do. They've got all these guys, and it's going to be fine. What about Tyler Anderson and Andrew Heaney and all these? They're going to be fine. And they were. And then guys, Julio goes down.
Yep.
And May goes down. And Tony Gonsolin starts the season on the IL. Like, they don't have any of their guys. And they've just slotted in, whether it's Miller, whether it's Grove, whether it's Stone, any of these guys, they've figured out their starting rotation more or less. Their bullpen is still a huge problem. They've got Evan Phillips, and go ahead and figure it out after that. He's the only guy that comes out of that bullpen. You're like, I think he's got a really good chance that this goes cleanly. Gratterall, I don't know. Ferguson, I don't know. Vezia, Bickford, and those guys and the other cast of characters they have going through there. The last 2 seasons, the reason they won 111 games in part is because the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning were just boom, boom, boom. They were so smooth and easy and connected. They're just scuffling to get through those middle innings now. They just do not have that smooth entry into the 9th inning the way that they have for the last few seasons.
I was thinking about this yesterday, and I know the bullpen struggled yesterday, and that's why they eventually lost that game. But I was thinking about this yesterday, that if they just – that starting pitching, if it's right by the time you get to the postseason – I know we got a long way to go.
4 months.
But they're going to be – they got a good chance to be scary, and I wonder if before the trade deadline, if what you're talking about, the bullpen, or needing another starter, just that 3rd, 4th guy on one of these other teams, how aggressive they're going to be to go
They're going to get a starter.
Those.
I would bet you my thumb that they're going to get a starter. I wouldn't be surprised if they got some bullpen help for sure. But if they're going to win the World Series, they're going to have to do to someone else what people have been doing to them. They're going to have to be hot at the end,
right time.
because I don't know if they're the best team. They're one of the best teams, but they're not light years better than they were previously. And Bobby Miller, World Series MVP, you heard it here first. Could happen. It could happen. The Dump coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. Hey, you know what else could happen? You could get involved in a car accident. You could be hurt in a truck accident, motorcycle, dog bite, bicycle, whatever it might be. If you get hurt in an accident, you need to know what to do next. And what you do next is you call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. How easy is that? 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. Because the law firm that you choose after that accident, it absolutely matters. So when you call Sweet James, here's what you get. You get nearly 20 years of experience. You get somebody that prior to that was working for the insurance company, so he knows how they operate. He knows that they don't have your best interest in mind, and he does. So if you get hurt in an accident, do what I've done and call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. Awarded best attorneys in America. Personal injury is all they do every single day. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
That he needed to use or he
pooped his
basically
pants.
did use the restroom,
Yeah.
but in his white Boston Celtics shorts.
happens.
I do believe that.
Yeah, I do too.
Because it's funny when it all went
does
down.
happen, unfortunately.
It's funny when it all went down, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, he's done." The guy is getting carried. There's a wheelchair. It's over. He's done for the series. And then about 18 seconds later, he's jogging on the court, checking in. I'm like, what the hell? And then he's kind of, and the crowd is going crazy too, that he just did something miraculous. At the moment, you're thinking it's miraculous, but no.
Yeah. look, it does happen, and it's one of those unfortunate things. It's a great equalizer. Everybody's equally vulnerable in those moments, right? It's just, hey, man, I got to get out of here real quick. I'll be back as soon as I can.
If he was playing for Brooklyn and he had black shorts on, does he stay on the floor?
It's a great topic for the dump as well, you know.
Indeed it is.
Come on,
the
Taylor.
leavings. Is that what we're going to change it to?
It's a classy show.
All in on this, okay? Netflix is going to release a documentary on the 2006 through the 2009 Urban Meyer teams at the University of Florida, according to one of his former players, linebacker Brandon Seiler. Swamp Kings is set to be released on August 23rd, so we got about 2 months or so before we get there. You know my feelings on Urban Meyer. I think he is about as sleazy a guy as you've seen in college football ever. Really good football coach, but that Florida team, this was Tim Tebow, this is Aaron Hernandez, this is the Pouncey brothers, this is Cam Newton was there briefly. Like, this is the spot where it was all going down. I can't wait.
So it's funny because I usually you tell me, and I kind of fall into this as well, hey, there's too many of these sports documentaries coming out. There's too much coming out. Are there enough interesting stories? Are they, what's the angle? Am I going to learn anything I don't know? I don't know much about this. I'm not here to tell you at that time I'm paying all that close attention. I don't know all that much about it. If you watch it and you say, Al, you got to go see, I need somebody to recommend it to me in order for me to go watch it.
This was the beginning of Aaron Hernandez, right? Which is just in and of itself about as fascinating a topic as there is.
That documentary I saw.
We all know how that ends, right? But as the story goes, as the reporting has gone, Urban Meyer knew that Aaron Hernandez was doing a whole bunch of stuff he wasn't supposed to be doing, like really, really dangerous, crazy stuff, and just completely looked the other way because he was a terrific football player. And that was kind of the MO of the entire operation. And then you had this guy that was the most chaste beacon of light in Tim Tebow that was doing all these things.
And he was like viral. Like Tim Tebow was everywhere. Even if you didn't really watch college sports, he was everywhere. People would like Tim Tebow everywhere, where they put their fist on their forehead and like do
Tebowing.
Tebowing was everywhere. And it's just very interesting because I want this documentary so bad. Like, I need to see it because I was so young at the time.
You brought up a good point, Em, that if this were HBO or ESPN, it'd be like, okay, 100% all. HBO and ESPN are terrific at doing sports documentaries. Netflix, we don't have much of a track record with those
So there
guys.
was the Monte Teo doc, which I thought was
okay.
somewhat
I liked
interesting
it.
to me.
I thought it was good.
But they've been hit or miss. They did the Aaron Hernandez doc before. And I thought it was good, again, because I didn't really know as much about it.
Yeah.
So they are hit or miss, but they also did do the Jordan doc. So it was with ESPN. It was ESPN and Netflix did that together. The Last Dance.
Last Dance. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a combo deal.
Huh. I'm in. I haven't seen it yet. I recommend it to you.
Already?
You should watch it when it comes out.
Well, here's what's
the subject matter is that good.
But if you hate it, you're still going to make Slee, you should watch it. And then you're going to wait for me to say it was awful, wasn't it?
No. If it's bad, I'll correct them on all the things that they got wrong because I remember it like it was yesterday. It was great.
There's
Happy
also
birthday.
the Malice at the Palace doc on Netflix.
That was really good.
Too.
That was a really good one. That is one that you watch that and you hear Jermaine O'Neal, you hear all these Reggie Miller. You come into that one, Meta. You're like, yeah, they got, I don't want to say a bad rap, but that wasn't the whole story. Those guys were given, they were better guys than they made them look in the moment.
It was a good opportunity to hear the other side of the story, which you don't usually get to hear.
Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney spent so much money, nearly $500,000 taking their team to Vegas to celebrate their promotion, right? They were promoted from one league up to the next higher league.
Wrexham did very, very well this season.
$500,000 weekend bender in Vegas, Slee.
Probably, God knows what they have made since they've bought that team and the promotion that they've made for
also
this
Ryan
is just
Reynolds
another small investment.
Bought and sold Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile,
didn't he sell aviation gin too?
Yes, he has had really good investments outside of his acting career, and it doesn't help that he's married to Blake Lively.
She
has
does
her
all right.
career and her net worth.
Have you ever gone on a trip where the whole thing was just kind of taken care of, and you're just blown away that how awesome the whole process is?
Yeah, in Vegas. I've done that before in Vegas.
Who's nickel?
So one of my best friends, his uncle was a big-time player in Vegas. This time I was like 21 years old.
Okay.
And
what'd you get to do?
The restaurant we went to was basically order anything you want, and it doesn't matter, and it was an expensive restaurant. The club that we went to was bottle service, and they're pouring anything that you could think of, and it doesn't matter. Everything we did it didn't matter. The place that we stayed at, I think we stayed actually at the Palms at the time, right?
Oh, yeah, that was hot.
That was the place.
Yeah.
The room that we stayed, everything was, it doesn't matter. And I didn't even know what any of that meant, but everything didn't matter.
It's an unbelievably liberating thing. We took a trip. The only time I've ever been to Cabo was it was a 40th birthday, and it was, hey, this is on us. We stayed in one of those mansions up on the hill in Cabo that's like the drug dealer mansion. There was a chef that was there at all times.
Literally, they were doing drug deals while you guys were there.
Car service everywhere you went, everywhere you would go. You never saw money change hands, and we were there for 5 days. It was the ballerest thing I've ever experienced. Limo to and from the airport, everything about it. First class down there and back. It was pretty great.
Ryan Reynolds worth $350 million.
That seems low. They sold Aviation Gin for like $800 million.
I guess just depends how much what his stake was. It
all of it. Give it to me all. Give it to me all. Let's do a little remote Super Crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Woo! All right, so Al and I are in the studio here. Mace is off today. Ireland and MT are in Koreatown. Where exactly are you guys today?
We're in Seoul. No, we are not in Seoul. We are on Vermont, but it's a dedication of a mural, Trav, that represents all the great duos in Laker history. So have Magic and Kareem and Kobe and Shaq.
Where are me and Rick Fox, the two greatest Bahamian duos?
Yeah, Michael didn't make the mural. Kobe made it twice, once with Shaq and once with Pau, and then AD and LeBron are up there. And it covers the whole side of a wall, which is pretty cool. And this is the first ever Lakers Town event, which is brought to you by BBGO.
Okay.
And so we've got a bunch of food trucks.
Where's Stu Lance?
Yeah, well, in San Diego sleeping. But it looks like it's going to be a really cool thing that people can come and visit for a lot of years to come.
So you kind of ripping off all those duos in Laker history. And the only other franchise that kind of comes to mind that could just kind of go blow for blow with the Lakers is just the legends of the game. It's probably the Yankees, right? Am I missing anything? It's just every team's got a few. Like the Dodgers have more than a few. But to be able to go into like your third and fourth handful of great players.
How could you be so disrespectful?
Who am I
thought
missing?
You understood sports.
What am I missing?
I don't know. There's a team back east that wears green that has some legends.
Although, Michael, I will
just think,
say...
Hold on. But think of the last 30, 35 years of Boston Celtics history.
Yes.
Well, they have more retired numbers than us, but they'll retire somebody if he makes a layup. You know, the Lakers only retire people if...
oh, come on. That's not fair. I mean, the Celtics got like 20 Hall of Famers. Come on.
They've got like 30 retired numbers.
Yeah, but they got a bunch of Hall of Famers.
Don Nelson should be retired.
Matter of fact, the only Hall of Famer that's not up there, that isn't in the Hall of Fame is Cedric Maxwell. Everybody else is Hall of Fame.
Well, we aren't putting him in, are we?
That's the Hall of Famer? Well, no, I don't
think
so.
He was an NBA Finals MVP once.
Yeah, multiple.
All he does now is harass you.
I know.
So I'll give you the Celtics. I missed this.
Yeah,
is there anybody else? That's 3 teams out of 4 major sports.
Well, what about the Montreal Canadiens?
Okay, I don't know
like
that
28
one.
Stanley Cups.
I'll take your word for that. I only know Rocket Richard.
I'm a black guy, and I'm teaching you about hockey. Hey, Travis, turn on your white car.
Right, no, here you go. Rocket Richard. Who else you got?
There was Phil Esposito. There was Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr was a Bruin.
Stan Mikita.
He was a Blackhawk.
There was Wayne Gretzky.
See, I'm taking my white card back.
No. But we still, I mean, okay, I don't know all the Montreal Canadiens legends, but I mean, after 28 Stanley Cups, I kind of think they have, they must have a bunch
I'm
of
with
legends.
Slee. I need to have seen at least one of them on color TV.
Well, I've always made the argument, guys, that if you gave me every Laker, anybody who's ever played for the Lakers, and I could make a team, I could give you the whole – let's try it, Travis. I'll give you everybody else.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Okay? So my backcourt is Kobe and Jerry West.
What? Wait a minute.
Well, I got to put Magic in. So Jerry will come off the bench.
Yeah, it's Magic and Kobe. Yep.
Magic and Kobe, and my front line would be LeBron, Elgin, Baylor, and Kareem.
What about Worthy? He's listening.
I know, but he'll be here. No, but Worthy would come off the bench. So would Karl Malone.
So Shaq's coming off the bench?
Wilt coming off the bench.
Wait a minute. Who's going to tell Wilt and Shaq they're coming off the bench?
Well, you could put Kareem?
No.
You got to start Kareem,
I know.
right?
You better have Riley tell him.
So, Trev, So, Michael, let's.
Here's what I got. Here's my first four, okay? And then we're going to have to. So I got Jordan, Bird, Duncan, and Russell. Okay.
You have to mean to challenge the Lakers.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
No, I would put Akeem in before I'd put Russell.
Okay.
Akeem was Russell both ways.
We'll take Russell and put him on the bench.
Player ever.
So we still need a fifth guy, Slee. If we've got Jordan, Bird, Duncan, and Hakeem, we need another guard.
What do you think, Michael? Oscar Robertson, maybe?
Oh well, so you got your front court already set. You need a guard.
Yeah, I need one more guard. I need a
so
point.
You got Jordan. Well, you can either throw in John Stockton or Isaiah Thomas.
Throw in Steph.
Steph. Oh, give me Steph. Give me Steph.
Yeah, but doesn't either way, my team will probably beat you and certainly goes toe to toe with you.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yankees
so
could do it.
the Lakers' history is unparalleled.
Yeah.
So
it's just the way it works.
How far back in the duo of the Murals are we going? All the way back to like the 60s and 70s, or is it more Showtime stuff?
Well, the oldest ones there are Magic and Kareem.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You mean they must have ran out of wall? Because where's West and Baylor?
Yeah, they did. They did everybody.
Put it on the roof.
Shrunk the figures down.
It's post 1980.
How could you have duos up there and not have West and Baylor? Now I know they didn't win a championship, but
That's
they
why.
They are still a couple of the greatest
ever. Elgin got a ring for 1972, even though he wasn't on the team at the end of the year.
Yeah, he only played 7 games that year.
Well, I mean, if you put West and Wilt up there,
you could do that.
Michael, how are you spending your off season so far? I feel like I was just going to say I feel like you're good for like 2 days, and now you're just going to start traveling to Denver and Miami.
Yeah, I'm miserable. I'm miserable because for the last 7 or 8 years, I was used to going to the finals as a spectator, of course, watching the Warriors. So, or at least late into the playoffs, I wasn't expecting to be out of the playoffs this round. I thought the Lakers, whoever was going to win the Warriors and Lakers series, was going to get to the finals. I was shocked the Lakers got swept by Denver. But, yeah, I'm quite bored. And, listen, I'm happy to have – listen, everybody loves a day off who are listening to us right now who's working and have to slosh around in traffic. We all love days off. But you don't want every day off. You get bored.
Have you not gotten on the bike or play tennis? Or I know you like to do those things.
Michael works out every day.
How much pickleball can a man play? And I love pickleball.
Ooh, maybe he could be our opponent, Slee, as the two best pickleball players here at the station.
One thing I don't do, Travis, I love golf. And I love pickleball, but I never play in tournaments. Those things take too long. I want to get out there, play, be done in an hour.
Okay.
That's how I like to play.
John and Michael, I'll ask you this because before the finals started, Trav asked me to sell him on why this was going to be an interesting finals. And I tried to give him my pitch. I don't think it worked at all. I know you two are watching these games. What do you guys thought so far of the finals? Well, I know you're watching it.
I'm
it's
just
not that interesting.
particularly invested in it.
Last night's game was great.
Yeah. It was a fine game, but when you don't care who wins, it's very hard for me to get invested in it.
Really?
Yes.
So if your Rams aren't in the Super Bowl, you're not going to watch?
No, because I feel about football differently than I do the NBA. And I follow that league a little bit closer.
He's watching Thursday night games between the Browns.
Cleveland and Jacksonville.
So if you you went to Santa Barbara, right?
Yes.
So if Santa Barbara's not in the Final Four in college football, you're not going to watch it?
Well, we haven't had a football team since '91, so that's going to be a tough fight.
But that would be a problem.
That would be an upset, to be sure.
Oh man,
college basketball is a
finals.
perfect example because, yeah, kinda. I mean, I'll watch it if there's when Slee's Aztecs are in it. I'm in it because I know Slee cares about it. But if I don't have a dog in the fight, it's hard for me.
Well, that's true, too. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I'm pulling for Pat Riley, of course, in the Heat. But still, it's intriguing to watch this matchup, the grit of the Miami Heat. That's kind of like contrary to the town. You would think a Miami team would be all about glitz and glamour, but they're more of a blue-collar team.
For sure.
And then the finesse, synchronicity of the Denver Nuggets and Jokic, the way he plays, it's just fascinating to watch.
So what?
Hey, somebody just tweeted us, Trav, that Reggie Lewis is also a player not in the Hall of Fame with his number retired by the Celtics.
That's right.
Yeah, but they did that out of sympathy.
Also, Don Nelson is not in the Hall of Fame as a player, only as a coach. Yeah. His numbers are
I feel comfortable in that one. What did you guys make of Sham's report about Kyrie trying to lobby LeBron to come to Dallas?
I'm so disappointed in you and what's your partner's name again?
Alan Sliwa.
Ryan.
I can't believe you guys wasted 3 hours of our life talking about that. Who comes up with this garbage? Just because Kyrie says, hey,
in this case.
Well, why would you even give that any credit or any weight?
Yeah, like Trav, I could start a rumor today that Giannis is coming to the Clippers. You want to do 3 hours on that?
But if Giannis started the rumor, I would.
And if it's Shams and it's Chris Haynes, at least there's two guys that are obviously reputable.
No. I could see if you guys are talking about it if Luka was pressing Mark Cuban to make the deal. But it's Kyrie. He says all kind of stuff.
Yeah, the world is flat,
That's right. Come on.
But okay, Kyrie is, like I like to say, has a deal, right? He might have more than one. But if he's saying this, it's not just because he got bored by it. This means, in his mind, means something.
Right, but, Kyrie's a little bit out there.
Yeah,
a little?
Yeah.
Eccentric. He's not like Thurston Howell.
So just because he says it, you can believe it if you want to.
Oh, I don't believe it. I just want to know what it means.
Yeah, and we both don't think it's going to happen.
He's trying to get the bag. He's trying to create leverage.
And you know why you give no weight to this, Travis? Number one, the Lakers aren't going to trade LeBron out of respect. LeBron wants to finish his career here. His son is playing a mile down the road. You think they're going to trade him away from?
No, I don't. And that's why I said that it's not going to happen. But my question isn't, are the Lakers going to do it? My question was, what does Kyrie get out of this? Well,
he's trying to create leverage.
Yeah.
So, in other words, if there's another suitor out there for him, if Kyrie's presence would attract other great players, then it entices the Mavericks to give him more money.
Plus, they got nothing to trade for a superstar if they want to. They got nothing unless they're going to throw Luka in the deal, and they're not going to do that.
Well, Michael, aren't Lakers also, their position just walking into the offseason, they just went to the Western Conference Finals. Okay, maybe they make some tweaks to the roster. Even if they ran back the exact same roster, they went 18-8 since the trade deadline. They got to the Western Conference Finals. To get a chance to run those players through an actual training camp and an 82-game set, they're not in a bad position. Think about where they were starting last year compared to where they would start this year. Last year they were 33-49. Russ was still on the roster. There was still a lot more question marks. I feel like a lot of that got answered in the last 3-4 months or so.
Well, it depends what you want to focus on. Mason always says that you can torture numbers to tell any story you want. The Lakers post-trade deadline had the best defense in the NBA. So if they bring that back, if they bring back most of the players from this year's team and they play defense like that for the whole year, they'll compete for the title again. But you got to bring a lot of these guys back. The roster will not be the same as it was this past year. There's going to be some turnover. But if you could bring back most of those guys, you have an excellent defensive core that you can build around.
So you got to be careful not to lose Austin Reeves. He's a free agent, and somebody might come in there with a poison pill deal, give him the Chandler Parsons type of deal.
Michael, they'll pay it, right? No matter what?
I would think so. I think the Lakers are going to match whatever offer he gets.
Is there a point, though, Michael, where there's just like, look, we love everything about you, but we just can't do that? Everybody's got that number, right?
Yeah, Austin's good, but I don't think he's going to get like the Jordan Poole kind of deal, 120 for 4, but he's going to get somewhere around 80 for 4.
Yeah, and if they gave him 100, I think they can go up to 98. That would make the Lakers think. But here, if you're a Laker fan, just remember this: the Lakers control his contract, so they can. If their attitude, like Jovan Buha reported last week, Trav, that no matter how high the offer is to Reeves, they're just going to match it.
Yeah, good.
So if Jovan's right, it's just going to cost you more money, but they're at least it would be up to the Lakers. Like Austin couldn't leave without the Lakers having a say in it.
The one to worry about is Rui. Rui played so well in the playoffs. Now somebody might come in with an 18 a year type of deal for him to try to steal him away. So it'll be interesting to see if the Lakers will match that.
That's got to be one of the toughest things for a general manager to kind of figure out, right? This idea of, okay, Rui was one player when he was in Washington with the Wizards, and he was a different player when he was with the Lakers. Is that the guy, like, if I'm not the Lakers and I'm making a big offer for a player like Rui, I'm trying to figure out which of these two guys I'm going to get, because the Laker guy is that $18, $20 million a year guy. The Wizards guy was not, but I don't know which guy. Was it just the perfect fit, or did he figure something out?
Well, a lot of it, I'm going to give credit to Phil Handy, because Phil and Rui worked every single day together. And, Phil he's like the title whisperer. You know, he was in Cleveland when they won the title. He was in Toronto when they won the title. He was with us when we won the title. You know, wherever he goes, he kind of makes you better. So if you go get Rui, like let's say you're a Orlando and you pay to go get Rui, but you don't have Phil Handy, you may get Wizards Rui. You know, you never know. So, I mean, the Lakers have an infrastructure that allows him to play his best. So I would think he's worth more to us than he might be to some other team.
So Slee and I were talking in Ireland this morning that this is the first time he's been back since he evened the score with you with a glass of water.
Yeah.
I heard about that. He threw the water in your face and missed.
Well, he missed. He hit the shoulder.
Me on the side of the head and then got my – but, Slee, I got a funny story to tell you. So, I don't know, an hour after you did that, I went to the bathroom, and I was standing at the urinal, and all my pants were wet, my underwear was wet, and this guy walks up to me, and there's no other conclusion that he could come to other than I wet my pants.
Right.
And should I explain it to him? No.
Just let him believe it.
Just let him believe it.
That was
man.
funny.
I'm sitting there holding up my soaking wet pants.
Michael, is that the best revenge you could have thought of? A cup of water in his face?
No, I was just giving him exactly what he gave me.
It was a proportional response.
Yep.
Yes,
you should have you should have warmed up some honey and poured it all over his head or something.
Look, don't go Michael.
That would have escalated that's what Travis wanted. It would have escalated a battle.
The suggestions I was getting were basically, John, I'm like, no, the guy should not go to the hospital for pouring water. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll make it here.
Yeah, well, the two standards I always do when I'm doing a bit are, one, can this in any way get me fired? And two, can me or anyone else be injured?
Sliwa, I would have got a bucket of flour and throw it in his face so he could have a white face.
Yes,
only you.
Yeah, that's right. That would have been cool. I have flour all over his face.
And he couldn't be. He wouldn't get canceled because you can't get canceled for white.
Exactly.
I don't think so. Here's what I learned.
And then honey on top.
Do not antagonize Michael because if Ireland gave you a 5 out of 10 and Michael comes back with a 500 out of 10.
That's right. A bag of flour all over his head.
Although Michael does offer me many. I take most of them, but not all of them. Many $100 offers to do stupid stuff.
What are some of the ones you haven't done?
Such a weak response. I was surprised, Steve. You just didn't walk up to him and pinch him on the arm and go, "Got your back."
The one Trav that I considered, but it violated the could get me fired and maybe could have got me hurt was Michael wanted me to run onto the tarmac.
This guy was an idiot. At the airport. He was going to do it, Travis. We were getting ready to walk on our plane down to LAX.
He goes, Ireland, if you run down to run all the way down the tarmac and run back.
No. I said, Ireland, I'll give you $1,000 if you run across the airport, the runway. He said, where's the money?
A working runway.
Number one, he would have got arrested. That's a felony. Number two, then he would have got fired. And then number three, when Tim Harris found out why he did it, he would have fired me.
I was going to say, Michael, you'd be gone too.
He goes, how did I hire these two idiots?
That's right.
Good decision,
That would have
John.
cost us everything. So
that would have been a bad call.
That was the last one I passed.
Yeah, good decision. Super
crosstalk.
crosstalk.
He was actually going to do that.
But Michael's got a bunch of good videos. Like one time he dared me. I don't think I sent this to you guys. There were these two girls in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
And they're sitting in...
Oh, I saw that one.
So picture a whole row of courtside seats.
Hour and a half before the game.
And only two girls are there, and they're both sitting there talking to each other, and there was a seat open in between them, but they both had their knees turned towards each other. So
the whole front row's empty.
And so Michael said to me, if you go sit down in between those two girls
and not say a word,
and you cannot say a word for 60 seconds, I'll give you $100.
Oh, that's an easy yes.
Well, wait. So I walked over, and I was like, Marcel Marceau. I did like part your knees, like parting of the Red Sea, but I couldn't speak. and they look left, they look right, and there's like 50 open seats each way, and they go, seriously?
What?
Is that what they said to you?
Yeah. And I nod yes, and I sit down in between them, and I'm just sitting there with my arms folded.
Yeah.
And Michael's shooting this from across the court,
And it's
but
just
they
getting
don't know
more
that.
and more awkward.
Oh, my
And
God.
finally, one girl goes, "You had to lose a bet," and I went. Like, I nodded, and I pointed at Michael, and he said, "Oh, he dared you to come over and sit in between us."
Yeah.
And so they figured it out.
Yep.
And Michael had to pay me.
Yeah, they thought it was funny.
You should have given me 25
The
apiece.
most recent one is when you dared me to walk into the pool at the restaurant with my clothes on in Houston.
And the guy got mad.
Yeah,
one of the island Slee was there who was on charge, got mad.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
Humor.
Oh, I did.
And, Michael.
You can't do that, sir.
Yeah, and the guy got mad at me, but after a while when
He went into the pool wholesale, and took off his shoes. A minute.
Voice of the
Can I
Lakers,
take
John
off my
Island,
shoes
terminated.
And hand you my phone and my wallet. And you got to keep in mind, Trav, it was like a nice hotel restaurant with the tables all around the pool.
Don't lose your job.
So we had just gotten back from wherever we were. We were at Mastro.
Would you, if I gave you $100, would you lick the bottom of your shoe today off this?
No,
I
would not.
No.
Yeah, we're on a pretty dirty street.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me
Well,
think.
you did it at the Mardi Gras.
John, I was going to say, if you've done it at Mardi Gras,
Then
there's
there's
no
no-
dirtier
yeah, there's no
spot.
other
But then I
place.
had to go get a tetanus shot. I don't know if I have time to go get a tetanus shot.
How long ago
today.
did you do the Mardi Gras stunt?
5 years.
Okay.
6 years, maybe.
Lick the bottom of his
And
shoe,
then I called
folks.
Beatty when I got back.
Walking down Bourbon Street would throw up and pee
Yeah.
all over.
And-
He took the shoe off and licked the bottom of his shoe.
And then what makes that story even worse, Trav, is I took the $100, walked right into Harrah's, and lost it in 10 minutes.
Then I had to go get a rabies shot from Gary Vee.
I called Beatty. I go, should I do anything? He goes, I want to see you in the morning, and he's just laughing at me like he couldn't believe I was that big of an idiot.
Trust me,
but I got away with it.
Rabies would have been your best case option of something you were going to catch.
Well, hey,
stepping
Trav,
on
this
that.
is how my mind works. I was like 3 hurricanes in, and I had a full hurricane in my hand. So as soon as I
That
licked
helps.
my shoe,
That helps.
I took a big swig of the hurricane and gargled with it and spit it out, thinking, "Oh, now I won't get anything." But I was fine. I lived.
Super Crosstalks brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger is all about. We'll see you tomorrow.